A cold one tonight, mid to upper teens. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines.
Here's Jones on a keeper. Out over the 40 to midfield. Matt Jones may take it to the house. And the dunk.
3-2 pitch. He struck him out. Got him looking. Hagen Smith has tied the school record with 17 strikeouts, but he's done it in 6 dominating innings. Peyton Holt in center field makes the catch. Runners don't try to score. Zonay's coming home. He throws to third. Sprague Lodge fires to the plate. They got him.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, good morning. Welcome into halftime today. You're listening to ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com, and the Hit That Line Now app. I'm Phil Elson, Matt Jones, my partner. Christian Johnston made it into the studio today, and I'm a little bit angry at him. He's laughing because he knows. I'm just a little bit angry he found a way to get into the studio today. Women's basketball didn't make it back from Auburn last night until, very early this morning, about 1:30 in the morning.
Big time
still
win.
Jacked up. Yeah, I mean, that's right. A huge win, jacked up from the win. I got like 20 minutes of sleep on the flight back, so I don't think I even fell asleep until 3. Wake up, just get woken up a little bit by like 6:30. Thought I would put on the Hit That Line Now app to figure out whether or not I'd be working today, and I heard Chuck and Bo, and I was able to put myself back to sleep, but with a bit of a frown, not necessarily a smile. Morning, Matt Jones. Matt is in his home studio today. Didn't even know you had one, but this would be the day to have a home studio because who wants to be outside in this?
The real question is, everybody stays safe out there for sure. But how's the puppy dog, Christian? You had to make the trek yesterday after work. How long did that take you?
Man, I drove like 15 to 20 miles an hour across town. It probably took me an hour to get there and back, but
it was worth it though, huh?
Yep, had to do it.
It's not bring your son to work day for you. You could have brought the puppy.
Man.
Could have brought him over. Yeah,
I wouldn't
too
get
many
anything
wires
done.
laying around, right?
Oh,
well, not
man.
only would you not get anything done, but you'd probably have to rebuild the radio station.
Yes.
With the chewing that a puppy will get done here.
Yes.
So this will be kind of interesting. One of the reasons I was kind of hoping that Christian would have been stuck inside is that I wasn't able to watch virtually any of the Orange Bowl. It was because of the basketball game. I mean, we had our game start at 6 o'clock. Kickoff was 7. So you know what I saw at halftime? I saw the kickoff. I saw the first 2 plays that Penn State ran, and that was about it. Because then we had the second half of the game. It was a thrilling victory for the Arkansas women's team yesterday, and I'm just going to go up here and say it before we even talk about football. Right now in the dictionary, beside the word badass, is a photo of Izzy Higginbottom. It's just incredible. 36 points in the win yesterday. She scored more than half of Arkansas's point total. She scored 36 of their 59. And so with all of that and the excitement of the victory, and then we didn't even know if we'd make it back to Northwest Arkansas last night. So we did make it back, and a little bit of more of a harrowing drive, like from XNA to Drake Field, where we had taken off the day before. But all I know, Matt, is that Notre Dame beat Penn State, is that it came down to an interception at 33 seconds when Penn State had the ball, and Aller throws one over the middle. A great diving interception leads to a 30. Well, I don't even know how long the field goal was to win the ball game. And so congratulations to Notre Dame for a chance to play for a national championship in a couple of Mondays, a $20 million paycheck for that win, and it's bringing Old Glory back. What'd you think of the game last night? Because I can't tell you what I thought.
Jimmy Franklin 1-15 versus AP top 5. Drew Aller. Drew Aller needs 4 more years of college ball before he goes to play on Sundays. Whatever that was, man, he couldn't throw it into the ocean. I've never seen a quarterback be so inaccurate. Like it was, he left. There was 21. Penn State should have had 21 points in the first half. You just watch the game. They should have had. They had open guys. He couldn't hit them open. It's like. That's what happens, though, Phil. When you get in a big game and you miss some points, you leave some stuff out there, and then you let them hang around. They should have put that game away. Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Texas, either one of those teams, Notre Dame's not going to win the national championship. It's Ohio State or whoever wins this game tonight is going to be your national champion.
The first thing you lead to there is about Franklin's record with Penn State against top 5 teams, and that's kind of what we were getting into yesterday, just the narrative of a good football coach. They can't win the games that they're not supposed to win. Although in this case they were the favored team, so that's or close enough. I mean, it felt like it was more than more like
Phil,
a coin
they left.
flip or
If you
anything.
watch this first half, if you get a chance to ever just see it in passing, I know it's nothing to, but dude, there was points out there. They left. I mean, Penn. It's one of those deals where when you have a chance to kind of take control of the game and you don't, then that's what happens.
Do you put any? I mean, do you first of all? So another aspect of it is a 10-0 first half lead, and the feeling that Notre Dame wasn't able to really get much going until and you knocked their quarterback out of the ball game, and he's all dazed, and they're down a left tackle. I think their top pass rusher too. So it's not like
they lost
Notre
2 offensive linemen, Phil.
Yeah, it's not like the Fighting Irish had who would have a full 100% these days, but.
In the play calling.
It didn't feel like it was 100% of what Notre Dame had brought to the table throughout the season, especially, considering in this game, if you're down your left tackle and your quarterback, I mean, what do you have sometimes?
I got to wonder who the offensive coordinator is. There was a time they were in field goal range, like even shorter than what Notre Dame had to win it, and they call some pass play. There's like 30 seconds. It's like, what? Why are you taking points off the board? I don't understand. And then Penn State had a guy slip and fall. Like when you dream, when you're playing Division I or you're playing high level sports, you kind of think, man, I wish somebody would slip and fall. It never happens. Nobody just slips and falls and doesn't just and lets you. Penn State dude just slipped and fell down. I mean, gave him 7 points. And offensive coordinator from Penn State should it's kind of that Atlanta New England thing. You're in range to get points. Why are you taking points off the board? I don't understand it.
And did I see it right? Not a single catch by a Penn State wide receiver.
Notre Dame had 2.
God.
Yes, no, you're exactly right, Phil. Notre Dame had 2 interceptions, null and void. 2 interceptions they had that got called back from defensive penalties as well. Like Penn State had chances. They beat themselves. The better team lost. The Penn State was the better team all night, and then they shot themselves in the foot the entire game.
Well, that's tough for Penn State. Tough for Jimmy Franklin. Tough for Drew Aller, and good on Notre Dame. But
They'll be back in it next year. They'll be in the playoff 12 next year. They won't get SMU and Boise State next year. That won't be their first 2 games to get there. But dude, they should have won that game. Like in every way, shape, or form. If you watch that game, Penn State's left it out there.
So now I guess we have the Cotton Bowl today. I'd seen an aerial photo of what the parking lot looked like yesterday. And, I know it's not snowing any longer, but that's a lot. It's a lot of particulate to get out of a very large parking lot with a huge crowd that would be coming in if it was a nice day for football. But I wouldn't anticipate that they're not going to play it no matter what. Because if you can move an NFL playoff game out of Los Angeles to Glendale, Arizona, for obvious reasons, to escape everything that's happening in Los Angeles, and we'll talk with Aaron Torres about that in just a few minutes, because he's kind of been not in the middle of it, but pretty close to this historic and tragic fire that has torn up. What I read was maybe about the same amount of square miles that covers the island of Manhattan is what has burned up in this fire, the Palisades fire. And I know there's a couple others, maybe more raging right now in Southern California. But if you can move a game, an NFL playoff game, and you think of all the money that the NFL makes through ticket sales for the playoffs, and you're moving that game to a neutral site for safety reasons, and I don't know what the ticket situation is with that as far as that's concerned, you can still hold a Cotton Bowl even if you don't expect that everybody can make it in or even make it into the parking lot, because you got to get the game played first and foremost, and then we'll figure out what our national championship matchup looks like. Feels weird today, doesn't it? I mean, it's just a very odd kind of a day. We knew this was coming a few days ago. Everybody's plan, and man, I mean, it really feels like we might kind of be stuck inside for the entire weekend. When I looked outside, first of all, I get to the hotel and think, it's probably gonna be here for at least a couple days without even getting outside. And then it keeps snowing, and waking up this morning and looking out and seeing there's about a foot of snow on the ground, or at least what feels like or looks like a foot of snow on the ground in Fayetteville. And I just don't know how quickly any of this will be able to melt in the next few days. And again, so it's also waking up going to bed at like 3 for an 11 o'clock radio show. My mind's not quite 100% there today. So maybe it's just like 3 full golden hours and call it good. Halftime on this Friday will include, now we're working on trying to get a member of the 4029 Storm team in to talk about what's happened as far as the snow is concerned and what the temperatures might be like the next couple of days, and potentially how quickly this stuff can melt. It's actually started snowing again in the last like 20-30 minutes in Fayetteville, just not enough to really cause too much of a problem, but it's still coming down a little bit right now as well. So we're working on that. We will have Neil Atkinson from Bet Saracen to get in on some of the props that we got tonight for the Cotton Bowl, and of course for Arkansas and Florida. Basketball resuming tomorrow. And man, that's another aspect. You're hoping to get a home court advantage, and I know that you see all these photos taken like 10 or 15 minutes before tip-off of the Ole Miss game, and it wasn't a great crowd at that point. It looked like by the time you got a few minutes into the first half, you had a nice crowd. I'd be surprised if you can get a good crowd inside Bud Walton Arena tomorrow. Just not saying don't try. It's a lot of snow, really a lot of snow, and it's not the easiest to be getting around here. And it's not like this stuff is going to be melting today or before tip-off tomorrow either. So, it might be a little bit different inside the basketball arena tomorrow as well. Aaron Torres coming up in a moment. We'll have a lot of time for your calls and texts. And you're probably listening to us at home. If you're not, if you're out and about, send us a photo from where you are. 877-377-6963. You can even have a snowman contest if you want. Stay with Halftime. Aaron Torres from Southern California in just a moment on Halftime.
As being a fan, there's a fire that burns in me just like when I was 7 years old, my first game in Little Rock, Arkansas.
This is Halftime.
Week 16, Eastman for the Elite Eight. Arkansas is going to the Elite Eight for the first time since 1995.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
With the new $7 Lux Cravings box from Taco Bell, luxury is all in the details. A cheesy gordita crunch with the crisp bite of a crunchy taco wrapped in a pillowy flatbread. A beefy 5-layer burrito with seasoned beef stacked on velvety melted cheese. A crunchy taco, chips and nacho cheese sauce, and a medium drink. All for just $7. Live Lux for less today at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation varies. Drinks exclude free tax extra.
Up to $10,000 off or $7,000 off and 0% financing on select 2024 GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 24 GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off or take $7,000 in discounts and 0% financing with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
At Central Hydraulic in Fort Smith, the work doesn't just stop when the temperature drops. We're your go-to service provider. Be sure to prep your machine and stay ahead of the frost and costly damage. Still using summer oil? Winter-friendly oil is the weapon your machine needs. Be sure to get an oil change. Check your hydraulic fluid, fuel prep, and battery check. For all these services needed in the cold weather months, come see Central Hydraulic for all your hydraulic needs at 6104 Highway 271 South or call at 479-646-0571. Central Hydraulic, your service provider.
At Hug Chevrolet Buick GMC, we dial 782-8940.
This is Joe Calderera with Taliano's Restaurant. We call 782-8940.
Keep warm this winter with a York high-efficiency furnace. Or for more information on endless hot water and a high-efficiency tankless water heater, give Blaylock Heating, Air, and Plumbing Services a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
Happy New Year from all of us at Crabtree RV Center in Alma. We invite you to party with us all year as we celebrate 75 years in business. We are proud to have served the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas area for 75 extraordinary years. Here's to 75 more. Happy New Year from all of us at Crabtree RV Center in Alma. We invite you to party with us all year as we celebrate 75 years in business. We are proud to have served the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas area for 75 extraordinary years. Here's to 75 more.
Old Man Winter is here, bringing cold, nasty weather. And Jelco Outdoors has all the gear to keep you warm and dry. Insulated coats, jackets, overalls, coveralls, thermal socks, and gloves. For kids, up to men's 4X. Jelco Outdoors has the largest selection of winter boots in the River Valley to keep your feet warm and dry. Need a portable heater? Jelco has plenty of Mr. Heater portable propane heaters and accessories. Come see us at Jelco Outdoors. Stay safe and stay warm this winter. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith, your cold weather store.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Are you in the market for a new office printer or multifunction device? Look no further. At Dixie Digital Imaging, we bring a legacy of experience and a rock-solid reputation. Our state-of-the-art solutions are tailored to meet your business needs seamlessly. Why settle for anything less? Call us now at 479-783-6600 to get a quote on your next office printer or multifunction device. Elevate your office efficiency with Dixie Digital Imaging, where experience and reputation meet excellence. That's Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss. Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Just heartbreaking videos and photos and stories coming from Los Angeles, California. The Palisades fire has destroyed thousands of homes. It is changing lives even as we speak right now. Our good friend Aaron Torres lives in Los Angeles and joining us here on Halftime on a Friday morning like usual to talk some sports. But, man, Aaron, I hate what I've seen. I know I checked in with Aaron yesterday, and he's all right. Sounds like the house is okay. But, AT, my heart's broken about what's happened in Los Angeles, and I know you've got to feel the same about your neighbors.
Yeah, there's no doubt. First of all, I appreciate the kind words, Phil. Yeah, listen, we all, like to come on here and have fun and talk sports. But, yeah, there was the Palisades fire, and then there was if you paid attention, the Altadena fire, and I actually lived in Altadena for a while, and I now live in the neighboring town of Pasadena. And, you know, on the one hand, just insanely grateful that, you know, everything that everybody that I know, everyone that I know is fine and safe. But, I mean, I'm not lying when I say that, you know, probably 3-4 miles from us, everything's completely gone. And so we did actually briefly evacuate on Tuesday night through yesterday morning, came back. Other than a little bad air quality and, you know, some down branches, everything is good for us, but there's a lot of people that are impacted. And, you know, the one thing I will say, I know there's a lot of bad weather going on around the country, is that, you know, I know people that have lived in Los Angeles for 30 years that have said, we've never seen anything like this. It was kind of the combination of the winds that then became fires. And, you know, for people who weren't really following, Tuesday we had basically 100-mile-an-hour winds. And, you know, my first reaction was, you know, it's wind. I grew up in the Northeast. We had hurricanes. What's the big deal? But you realize how quickly things can scale down. So it's been a surreal couple days. I'm happy to just talk sports going forward. Thank you for the kind words. And I think it goes without saying as well, thank you to all the, firefighters, first responders, people like that, because I know they've been working around the clock. So I got the easy part to talk sports. And, I don't want to be a downer. It's a Friday. SEC basketball has started. So, you know, we can be positive. I don't mean to be a downer. I apologize.
I don't want to be a downer either, Aaron, but the Razorbacks have lost 2 in a row. We get Florida coming in, and you know, if you took Ole Miss's top 7 in their rotation and you took Arkansas's top 7 in our rotation and you just did combine testing, we have 7 better athletes than what Ole Miss had bringing out there on the floor. So should I be encouraged, or how should I feel if I'm a Razorback basketball fan right now?
I don't think encouraged is probably the right word. I don't think you necessarily need to be totally discouraged either. I mean, listen, you know, I was thinking about it. I know that we live in this portal world and, you know, whatever, but like, it is still hard to completely flip a roster. I mean, Kentucky has some great wins. They certainly do not have all the answers. I mean, they've lost to 3 unranked teams. You know, Coach Muss, who I love out here in Los Angeles, is struggling right now a little bit. So, it's not just Arkansas that doesn't have answers right now. I do think the justifiably frustrating part is that, 1, you do have an insanely talented roster, as you said, Matt. And I think, 2, we all kind of understand in the SEC, you got to get home games. You just have to. And so I think there's absolute justifiable, concern or frustration from Arkansas fans. The only, silver lining, whatever you want to call it, I would say is, I know the other fan base will tell you otherwise. Cal teams do improve over the course of the season. I went back and looked it up yesterday because I wanted to see if my mind was tricking me or if it was true. Kentucky won 7 of their last 8 SEC games last year, including wins at Auburn, wins at Tennessee, win against Alabama at home. And they were the 2 seed at the SEC tournament and the 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. So the idea that, Calipari just can't win a big game, I just don't buy. But yeah, I think it goes without saying there's a lot to work on. And again, I know I'm going long on all my answers here. The one thing I will say, once you get past Florida, you do hit about as soft of a spot in the schedule as you're going to be able to get all year in the SEC. I don't think it's inconceivable that you beat Florida on Saturday because you do have the talent. But I do think after that, it gets a little bit easy. Let me ask you guys a question. I want to ask you because I'm a guy who, I made my first pilgrimage to Bud Walton Arena a little over a year ago, and it was one of the greatest environments I've ever been part of. What do you guys, and I don't know if there are certain things in the athletics department that you guys can't talk about. If there is, and you have to plead the fifth, I understand. But why is there so much trouble getting fans to the arena? And, especially for an SEC opener against a ranked team, what do you guys diagnose? Or I don't even know if it's something you could talk about, but I would be curious for your perspective.
That's like the $80 million question. And it feels like there's some discontent with at least, how the team might be playing right now, but that doesn't have anything to do with what might have been, you could, I guess, describe as underwhelming crowds in the non-conference schedule. But, it didn't have necessarily those big-name opponents to bring him in. I just kind of expected because I mean, there was an amazing amount of excitement around the program in.
What about his
April.
press conference, Phil? What was there, 10,000 people
Yeah.
there to see him introduce?
Absolutely, and it really felt like there was a build-up to the season 2 of anticipation and excitement and all of that. And I still think people are not necessarily like just down on him as the Arkansas coach or on the program. It's just I haven't seen it carry over to the crowds. And, another aspect, and maybe the announcers were talking about it in the Ole Miss game, that it's quieter than usual and everything. And I just don't expect it's going to be any louder tomorrow. We've got like a foot of snow on the ground out here in Fayetteville. So
true.
You got to defend your home court, but it's got to be a matter of you just don't show up at home and automatically, boom, it's a lightning bolt and you start playing well, especially with a team like Florida coming in. Because look at what they almost did at Rupp. Like that game at Rupp with Kentucky, with Florida, Aaron, I watched about 2/3 of it before I had to hit the road. It was about some of the highest level of college basketball I've ever seen.
So, yeah, no doubt on that. And, yeah, as far as the crowds are concerned, I was just curious for your guys' perspective. Florida's really good, boys. Florida's really good. And, listen, I don't think I've ever done a 180 faster on a team because I watched them a lot in the non-con, and you really look at their non-con schedule. Listen, they tried to schedule brand opponents, but Virginia, obviously, you can't anticipate a Hall of Fame coach who's going to retire 2 weeks before the season. North Carolina is kind of starting to figure things out in the ACC play, but what do they got? 6 losses overall. They haven't really beaten anybody of note. So I went into that game at Rupp saying, okay, let me see it now against a real team in a real road environment. And I think you combine that game, which, as you said, Phil, I agree 100%, as good of a regular season college basketball game as I've seen, with what they did in Tennessee on Tuesday night. It was like, I haven't looked at the box score, and I don't think any Tennessee fan has. There was one point in the second half where Tennessee had made like 6 field goals. Now, that's just a bad night shooting, but Florida also can put it on you really quick. And I think, that to me is the perfect example of what I was talking about a minute ago, where you want to blame Cal, but, Mark Pope doesn't have it all figured out in year 1. Eric Musselman doesn't have it all figured out in year 1. Andy Enfield at SMU doesn't have it figured out in year 1. And you look at Florida, I mean, listen, the core of that team made an NCAA tournament and got a 6 seed last year. Walter Clayton was there last year. Will Richard was there last year. A couple of those big guys that are athletic and can shoot threes were there last year. So it's not excusing Arkansas by any stretch. But what I am saying is there is something in this era of college basketball to some holdovers, to some guys that have been there, guys developing within your program. And I think Florida's just a great example of that this year, because they're not only a great team, but you've really seen growth from guys year over year, like Will Richard, like Walter Clayton, and it has turned into a team that's absolutely good enough to get to San Antonio for a Final Four.
Hey, Aaron, Phil played for us, the UCLA coach, Mick Cronin's kind of soundbite going off. And anytime you're a head coach, and yeah, right, and you're like telling people your resume, usually the end is near. Did I miss something, or did you? I know you saw that. What's the feel going on with Mick Cronin and UCLA right now?
Mick is good for about one of those every year. It's crazy because I was at they played, so that their last 4 games, they played UNC on a neutral. Then they played Gonzaga in LA. It was technically a neutral, but it wasn't really. Then they played at Nebraska and Michigan at home, okay? So I was at the Gonzaga game sitting in his post-game press conference, and he's raving about how his team has responded to, blowing a huge late lead against North Carolina, and he's so proud of them, whatever. And so you lose to Nebraska on the road. They're pretty tough, actually, this year. And then you get blown out by Michigan at home. That's Mick being Mick. I mean, like I said, he's good for about one of those a year. Now, what's interesting is that sometimes it really works. If you go back to his first year, I talked about it on my show today. His first year, they played Stanford. They were 8-9, get blown out at home by a bad Stanford team. He goes to the podium. He's like, my guys are soft. Whatever. You can find the clip. They end up winning, I think, like 10 of their final 12, and they were going to make the tournament, and that was the year the tournament was canceled because of COVID. Now, the counter to that is last year, you can also find a rant very similar where he said something to the effect of, and you can find this one too, is a famous rant. he was complaining about NIL. And he said, well, we're the Cincinnati Reds and we're playing the Los Angeles Dodgers every night. What do you expect? And that's a almost verbatim quote. And so that one, so I guess the point I'm trying to make is, you know, you complained about NIL last year. You clearly got your NIL money in check. And now this year you're complaining about the softness of the team. It was great audio. He's certainly not on the hot seat or anything like that. I think he's frustrated. And the one thing I will say, the dude is passionate. The dude does care. And I like when he says that I walk into the building with more fire in my belly than anybody else, like that part I do believe. Now, is it all the player's fault that he hasn't gotten it out of him yet? Not really. But I think it was more just – I also think it was just more great audio than anything else, to be perfectly honest.
Hey, last thing, AT. You think Notre Dame's got a good shot, not just a shot, but a good shot against either of the two teams we'll be watching tonight in Dallas?
Certainly, if Texas somehow wins, I just don't think Texas is explosive enough to bury anybody, and that goes back to when they came to Fayetteville, 8 weeks ago. They haven't blown people out. Even the Clemson game, they scored a lot of points, but that was the worst defense they faced really over the last 7 or 8 games. So Texas, I think, gives them a better chance. Listen, I don't think you can get to this point in the season, beat the SEC champ, beat the Big Ten runner-up, and not be a good team. But if Ohio State plays the next 2 games, and certainly tonight like they have the last 2, I have the most basic take that everybody else has, which is nobody's beating Ohio State if they play like they did in the Rose Bowl and the Tennessee game before that. So I wouldn't give up on Notre Dame, but I think their back is certainly going to be against the wall, given how tough Ohio State's playing. But Ohio State's got to get through Texas before we even worry about Notre Dame. So.
It does kind of feel like when UConn was in the tournament last year, we're trying to find a reason for somebody to beat UConn. We're just trying to find a reason that somebody can beat Ohio State.
Well, it's a good analogy, and I'll just be quick, is that I am the guy that the last 2 weeks, Tennessee, it was like, Ryan Day's on the hot seat. And then last week it's like, okay, they beat Tennessee, but are they going to do it 2 games in a row? I will say I have not heard, and I'm not going to do it, but I have not heard anybody make the super compelling case that Texas wins tonight. I think they can keep it close defensively. They should be able to do as good a job as anybody on that Ohio State offense. But I just don't know that they have enough firepower in that offense. We've talked about it. It seems pretty clear to me that for whatever reason, Sark doesn't trust Quinn Ewers. But to your point, Matt, is like I haven't heard anybody make a compelling case that they truly believe Texas is going to win tonight. And we always know what happens when stuff like that happens. So
maybe the best way for the Texas Longhorns to figure this out is maybe to steal the Michigan uniforms and dress as the Wolverines, and Ohio State has trouble with them. So just those uniforms, maybe.
Connor Stallions.
Yeah.
Hire Connor Stallions. He's pretty.
We'll leave it there. I hope everything's going to be all right in L.A. Appreciate you talking about the fires and how it's affected people that and that you come into contact with. Stay safe there, and we'll visit again next week, okay?
Awesome, guys. Have a great weekend. Good luck against Florida. I'll be watching. Thank you, guys. Take care.
All right.
Thanks, Aaron.
Aaron Torres, every Friday here on Halftime. Matt, you're right, too. It's like you try to come up with, like, some nifty analysis to
kind of overthink the room or something, yeah.
Why one team will beat what the team that is the obvious choice as the best team right now. And it can just come down to something that's that simple of Ohio State right now does look that much better than the other 3 teams that are left. We can open up our phones for you right now, 877-377-6963. We'll be right back right after the break.
Have fun storming the castle.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Transform your yard work game with Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Experts and nearly 200,000 homeowners rave about Ego's performance. Gas power with without the noise, fuss, or fumes. Their patented 56-volt arc lithium battery delivers top-notch torque and fits all 90-plus Ego tools. Power through yard work and tailgates with the same battery. Plus, enjoy Ego innovations like the first fold-flat lawnmower and weatherproof equipment. Discover more at egopowerplus.com.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today and see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $500 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Man, I wish I knew you were here. We hear that every day at In Stock Parts, located off Highway 45 across from the cold storage in Fort Smith. Are you a maintenance technician, landscaper, farmer, or a do-it-yourselfer in need of bearings, belts, or roller chain, or safety supplies like gloves, safety glasses, or earplugs? Maybe you need drill bits, tap and die sets, lubricants, or even a gas-powered pump or generator. Don't waste your time driving around. Stop by In Stock Parts, your industrial parts resource, or check them out online at InStockParts.com. In Stock Parts.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Hey, Ty Richardson for JamMart. JamMart is always trying to save you money, and that's why they partner with Valero. Hook up your checking account to the Valero Pay Plus app, and you'll get 10 cents off a gallon, plus other special deals on holidays and more. JamMart and Valero, passing on the savings to you. Now available at the 3 Fort Smith Valero JamMart locations. And stop by any of the 6 JamMart locations in the area. JamMart, the leading gas station and convenience store in the region.
Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I wouldn't try to throw myself away if you ask me. I say, please be careful, my love. I can't believe the same. If you want me to say, we can't change the things we can't control. It's somewhere though you shouldn't be so close. You can't even look me in the eye if you try. We can try.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Great photos of Baumwalker Stadium in the snow. Even Norm's Lake doesn't look like it's frozen. It's not that cold. The entire smallish pond-like thing, body of water behind a batter's eye will freeze. But it's going to take a few shovels to get the snow off the field there. I don't think we're going to be playing baseball today. It's unfortunate. We'll be able to get inside Bud Walton Arena tomorrow as long as you can find a parking spot and hoof it a little bit. I'm not too far. Where I stay at the Candlewood is not too far from Bud Walton. It's less than a mile away. It's more like 3/4 of a mile. It's a nice little walk. And you know what we could actually do? If those who are listening that have the ability to do this, that have the actual kind of vehicle you could get out in this and be safe, I stay in a place that's right behind the Fayetteville High School track. And that would be the absolute best place for a snowball fight today. If anybody's interested, once we get past the show, 2 o'clock, I got nothing else going on. It's not like I got to drive anywhere. All I got to do is walk across the street and jump the fence. I don't even have to jump the fence. You usually just walk right in there. Every once in a while, you'll see people that actually are running the track that aren't Fayetteville track athletes. Today, I think we could get a pretty heavy snowball fight, one of those legendary snowball fights. Just keep it neck down. Can't throw it up at the can't throw it at the head. That's going to be illegal.
What's Ron Burgundy say? There's 2 rules, right? No touching of the hair and face.
If you can dodge a snowball, you can dodge a ball, right? These things do work in tandem. Is the snow good for making snowballs yet? It usually takes a little bit of time for it to kind of compact to where you can actually make a good snowball. Has anybody made a snow football before? It's always a round kind of a ball that's easier to throw. I'm not sure how much spin you could put on a snow-like football. I'm not sure how much quarterbacking Deshaun Watson is going to be doing anytime soon. Reports saying that he tore his Achilles tendon again. That's twice in, I think, a 3-month period, because he had the first Achilles tear October 20th, according to the information here on ESPN, and it's not been 3 months since then.
He tear the same one or the other one? Because a lot of times you'll tear the other one. You're putting so much pressure on your other foot, and that other one to tear. I had a teammate do that.
It's the same one.
Okay.
It's the same one. But you had a teammate that tore both Achilles? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, defensive end. We got him from Denver. He was an edge rusher, and he got there, tore his Achilles in camp, so didn't play that year, and it was one of our free agent gets. And then the next year, during the thing as he get going, he tore his other one and never played again.
Well, I don't know if Deshaun Watson is going to be playing again. I mean, I think they just renegotiated the contract. I don't think this had anything to do with it, but he did have they knew there was another injury. There's famous Jameis will be the quarterback of the future for the Cleveland Browns. I saw where the Falcons have said, Matt, that they are planning on keeping Kirk Cousins around as a $100 million backup quarterback. We've been wondering, what do the Vikings do with Sam Darnold now that J.J. McCarthy will be healthy for next year? Didn't McCarthy have an Achilles injury too? Was that the thing that's kept him out all year?
I thought his was the ACL.
Okay.
I'll have to go look.
All right. But I wonder if the Vikings do anything in terms of that, because you got a rookie quarterback. Are you going to just trust him to take over without a backup? Without a backup that's taken them to the sort of season that wasn't expected. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota keeps Darnold too, just as a backup, as a just in case, or maybe they battle it out in mini camp and in August camp. To see who takes over, and then they don't make a trade. It's not like they have to make a trade necessarily. It's a franchise that's in a pretty good situation, but that's different than the deal with Cleveland here, because I like Jameis, but he's a little bit of an older guy too.
Well, with Kurt, you're getting your option bonuses for in the NFL, because their physical year it's around March, like that last week in March, and then you get another option bonus. The final roster bonus. So they're saying that right now, but he might not make the final roster bonus. He might not. You don't know what they're going to do, but that tells you a lot about kind of his character and who he is. That he's a good locker room guy. That you want him around. I mean, why if you're Michael Penix, why wouldn't you want him around to learn from him? The dude's played a lot of football. at a high level. Now, Kurt's always been a B quarterback. He's never been an A quarterback, but that doesn't mean he's not smart. That doesn't mean he doesn't have a high football IQ. Talent-wise, physical gifts, he's never been up there with a Matthew Stafford, a Joe Flacco, anybody like that.
I wonder with the situation with Darnold, and I mean it's different than. But you remember the Jeff Hostetler, Phil Simms deal with the Giants, and what Super Bowl was that? I think that's when they beat the Bills.
That was the first one, the Scott Norwood one, right?
Yep. Simms was the quarterback throughout the entire season, got hurt and couldn't play, and Hostetler takes them to a Super Bowl championship, and Simms was not the quarterback anymore after that. Hostetler was the Giants quarterback from that point on. That was the tail end of Simms' career. That's pretty much what ended it. McCarthy's at the start of his career, so it's different. But let's say Darnold does something amazing and the Vikings win the NFC championship, which, I mean,
hey, they're getting a break, right? They don't have to go on both teams are playing a road. You're playing a neutral site game. They don't have to go into a hostile environment. Maybe they got a better chance.
I would think you'd have a better chance. To be the home team, you don't have to travel. The whole idea of being in your own beds, or you have all your people around you. But also, I think if you're the Rams, maybe it's a good thing to get out of Los Angeles, considering what's going on right now, and just try to get away from it. So that's just got to be in the back of your mind, even if you're just in Southern California. Go to Arizona, maybe they can, just sort of isolate the football game in their minds and just sort of go play football. But do you think if the Vikings would win an NFC championship that they're going to keep both quarterbacks? I was expecting they'd trade one or the other, but now that I see what the Falcons are doing with Cousins, because you got to have a good backup, right? You have to have a good backup, and there's no way the Vikings thought to themselves that we're bringing in Sam Darnold, a guy that 2 or 3 other franchises have given up on, and you know what? If our rookie quarterback, if J.J. McCarthy goes down, this guy's going to take us to an NFC championship. And look at what he's just about done. I mean, they almost won the NFC North, and a lot of it has to do with his quarterbacking.
Yeah, well, that Vikings roster is really talented, and you have the number 1 receiver in the world right now that plays for you. So that is a help. The thing, Phil, I guess, is you don't know. It was a torn meniscus with J.J. McCarthy, but you don't know. You don't have what's the film on him? How do you know? We don't know. We saw what Caleb Williams struggled. We saw Drake. You see all these. Who had the best season? I guess Jaden Daniels, but rookie quarterback, had the best season, and he's a little more mobile, and I guess JJ's he's halfway athletic as well. Bo Nix had a pretty good season, so that draft, Phil, might actually end up being one of the better quarterback drafts, which we still don't know yet. But there was 5, 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round, and 2 of them had led their teams to the playoffs in their rookie year.
Yeah, Nix and Daniels. And McCarthy is just sort of a
but there's just an unknown. I think you got to keep both of them because you don't know. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen.
877-377-6963 if you want to get with us anytime here on Halftime. Got some photos from Scott out of the 479. He's working on the John Deere right now, and it looks like he's got a giant bale of hay still being lifted in the snow with a large herd of cattle all around him looking at him like, what is going on here?
They're like, this is the biggest frosted mini wheat I've ever seen.
Good photo, Scott. Keep them coming to us at 877-377-6963. We'll wrap up the first hour in just a minute or so.
When Matt Jones and Houston Nutt teams were playing back in the day, if those guys had 4 wins on their record at the end of the season, they still got in there and they beat the tar out of everybody.
This is Halftime.
Up to $10,000 off or $7,000 off and 0% financing on select 2024 GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 24 GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off or take $7,000 in discounts and 0% financing with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball to NHL and UFC, head to BetOnline today and don't forget to use the promo code BELIEVE for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Fan. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
With the new Lux Cravings box from Taco Bell, $7 goes a long way. A cheesy gordita crunch stacked with layers of luxury. A Doritos Locos Tacos, extravagantly crispy. A beefy 5-layer burrito overflowing with cheesy indulgence. It's all you want and more. For less. The new $7 Lux Cravings box from Taco Bell. It's Lux for less.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas. More than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
You are coming home. Are you still alone? Are you not the same as you used to be? Is the sun goes high and you serve your time? Does each day just feel like another night? Now you know, is it just for sure? Just a foolish game that you might be mine. Don't forget the nights when it all felt right. Are you not the same as you used to be?
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Arkansas women's basketball trailed for 31 minutes and 2 seconds yesterday. They didn't take the lead until there were about 5 minutes left in the game against Auburn. There was some back and forth after that, and with just over 2 seconds left, Izzy Higginbottom was shoved under the rim. amazingly missed her first free throw, had a chance to break the tie, and this is how Arkansas took the lead. 2.4 seconds left, still a chance for the lead. Second chance. That one goes. Arkansas leads 59-58. Now they've got to defend. All right, so then Auburn calls a timeout. They advance the ball into the front court, and here is how Arkansas's first SEC win of the basketball season finished. Collins throws it in. Bostic catches it, drives. The shot is blocked by D'Elia, and the Razorbacks get out with a victory. This one belongs to the Razorbacks. Danica Galea blocked Bostic's shot a split second before the buzzer. And the Razorbacks taste an SEC victory for the first time. 59-58, your final score. They're coming home a winner. Yes, they are. Now, they didn't give Danica a block shot in the box score, but it was a block shot. That's for certain. And that was a thrilling win. They gave up the first 10 points, too, yesterday, Matt. Arkansas trailed by 14 points early in the second quarter and rallied back for a win. Nobody scored in double figures except for Izzy Higginbottom. She played every second except for 29 seconds. She played 39 minutes and 31 seconds. And it's now 4 games in a row with 20 points or more. Second game this year, she has scored at least 30, and she's doing that while still dealing with nagging injuries on just about every extremity. She's got the right thumb bandaged up, more like kind of in a wrap. She's got her left calf wrapped up. The right thigh had been wrapped up. It wasn't for this last game. And the other thing is every team's trying to stop her, but they can't. She is amazing.
Well, good for her. I'm happy for her and happy she's a lady back, and I hope she continues being a lady back. I hope this isn't the trend for Arkansas women's sports, where you get somebody that's pretty good, pretty decent, and then maybe they get a back injury here in about 2 weeks that we don't know about, then they're in the portal. So I hope she keeps on going. I hope she keeps doing her thing.
If Izzy were to have a back injury, I would believe it. What you just mentioned, Talia Scott was right in front of me yesterday as I was getting ready for the broadcast. She missed her 11th consecutive game with what Auburn is describing as a wrist injury. And maybe it is an injury, but I also know that there aren't a lot of people that believe the injury reports about her, the former Razorback freshman who transferred to Auburn. I think Izzy would play if she had one toe left to use.
She's a hog. I love it.
She is. We get into the second hour of halftime. Stay with us on this cold and snowy Friday.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Waldron Wave Rural Connect. Internet is now available in your area. Fast fiber internet and full-featured home phone are ready for you. This covers areas around Waldron, Bates, Winfield, Y-City, and more. Check out your address online today. The best whole home solution of internet and phone, all from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Looking to boost your health and feel your best? Elite Wellness and Aesthetics in Fort Smith is here to help. Starting at only $200 a month, semaglutide and tirzepatide are weight loss shots that can kickstart your journey to a healthier, more confident you. And with Elite's hormone therapy treatments, you can restore balance, energy, and vitality. Take control of your health today with Elite Wellness and Aesthetics. 479-242-9355 to schedule your appointment or visit FortSmithElite.com. Elite Wellness and Aesthetics, getting to know you inside and out.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Van. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, full deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561.
Mike
Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call, cleans it all.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Occasional snowfall, could see some very heavy snow at times, an additional 1 to 3 inches of snow possible. That's going to bring our total up to about 6 to 8 north, about 9 to 10 south. Trace amounts up to 1/4 inch of ice as well. Temperatures today mid to upper 30s, a cold one tonight mid to upper teens. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
You're listening to ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
Fight like hell for the University of Arkansas the entire time that I'm the head coach.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that we respect it. Ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Well, take it to the house.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad, we showed them at halftime.
But they were one racerback.
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Turn it.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
I will too.
Well, 12 o'clock afternoon. Let's just turn it into 2 golden hours. Why not? I thought the last hour yesterday would be a golden hour, but I don't know. We got people who work at this radio station, ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com, and the Hit That Line Now app that actually take I don't know, I think they take pride in showing up for work. I'm not sure if it means they take pride in what they do while they're there, but they certainly take pride in showing up when a lot of other folks are not at work today. But hey, when you work inside a hotel room, Matt Jones has his home studio today. Truthfully, Matt, I don't think we got anything to complain about because there are people who are working outside right now as we speak.
Life is good. That is exactly right. Golden hour could be here. Just if you see golden snow, don't eat it.
That's very important advice. Incredibly important advice. And growing up where I grew up, you learn that very early. Wonder about here. Yeah, I'll say this, though. We get snow on an annual basis here in Arkansas. We might need to get used to it a little bit. I remember when I first moved to the state 24 years ago, it was right after those historic ice storms that, I mean, it caused a couple of weeks for people to be able to even get out of their homes and just massive amounts of damage. We haven't had one storm like that since then, but the snow certainly does appear to be an annual deal. Calls and texts at 877-377-6963. Neil Atkinson from Bet Saracen is coming up in the next segment. Anything you want to get to as far as your sports betting is concerned. And let's get a quick look at today's line for the Cotton Bowl between Texas and Ohio State. They've got Ohio State favored -6.5, 250 on the money line. Point total is 53, 6.5 against Texas. What do you think about this one here, Matt? Ohio State is as complete of a team as there is in college football. Certainly in the playoff, they've looked like that. They have an explosive offense. They can beat you two ways, as you've pointed out. They're Sunday players in terms of receivers, running backs, offensive line, and the Texas offense. I mean, I think the Texas offense can be really good. It's just I wonder what it is that opens up the other aspect Do they need to run to pass? Do they need to pass to run? And can they slow down Ohio State? Because the way that Ohio State jumped out against Tennessee and against Oregon, this is a team that's playing really good football in the first half.
Yeah, Phil, styles make fights, and if you believe I don't know how much people believe into the analytics, but they're good guidelines. You want to look at that and see when Texas has the number 1 defensive stop rate in the country this year. I think it's going to come down, can Texas tackle? You got number 2, number 4, number 32, number 0. They have so much talent on that Ohio State team that if you miss a tackle, they make you pay for it. So how does the Texas defense, are they the number 1 defense in the country? Can they slow down this Ohio State offense? And again, like we talked about in the first hour, we're just trying to find a reason. We're trying to find something to kind of hang your hat on or something to believe in, because the way Ohio State's playing, it doesn't look like anybody can hold Ohio State under 30.
Now, remember, if we're going by the college football playoff rankings, neither of these teams would have made it. Neither. Well,
I think they're both the favorites.
Ohio State, Notre Dame. Yeah, Notre Dame and Ohio State, which is what we expect to be the championship game. Neither would have made the playoff under the previous structure. Though I do wonder a little about, because the Notre Dame can't get a bye, they always have to play in the first round if they are invited to the college football playoff. And by the way, I do like our friend Bill King from Tuesdays, Nashville Sports Radio. He no longer refers to it as the college football playoff. He calls it the Naked Money Grab Invitational, which I think is pretty funny. But would they have put Notre Dame ahead of Penn State if it was still a 14 playoff? Would that one loss to Northern Illinois had outdone the one loss by Penn State to Ohio State? My guess is you probably wouldn't have had Notre Dame in the 4 at that point, because a loss to Northern Illinois, I think, would have knocked them out of the top 4. So right here, we've had so many people, Matt, say, you don't need a 12-team playoff because there's only 3 teams potentially that can really win a national championship. But now that kind of flies in the face of what the rankings are in this case. Maybe it's not, because when you watch Georgia in the playoff, that didn't look like a national championship team. Oregon didn't against Ohio State, but just about every other game they played this year they did. Texas would have been in as an SEC champion, but that's probably, that might have been the only one of the top 4 that would have gotten in to begin with. So,
man, it's what did Penn State play? 11, 12, 13 games this year and no hardware to show for it. Or they played more than that, didn't they? What were they? 13 and 3, 16
12
games
regular
is how many they played this year. That's just crazy.
12 regular season, lost the Big Ten championship game. Then they had the 2 playoff games. And you're right, and no championship to show for it. Oregon at least gets the Big Ten championship trophy, although for that program, that's probably a small consolation considering the chances that Oregon has had to even play for a national championship or win a national championship. Outside of that, you could even say Texas sometimes wasn't looking like a national champion caliber club at times. It's more for me about how they play up against their competition. It's not the talent, because I think Texas certainly has that kind of talent. We got Charlie here on hold with us. Charlie, how are you holding up today? What's it like in Camden throughout this weather?
Phil, do you even want me to go there?
I just want you to tell me what it's like outside. That's all.
There is nothing outside. I'm not kidding. Listen, I want you to. Okay. This is the thing about South Arkansas, okay? There is something in the air down here. Every time these winter storms happen, they always say, and I put this on Facebook recently, C-Unit would have saw it, but there is something in the air down here. They call it, I don't know, dry air. And, you can look at a radar. You can see the snow falling, but you know what happens to the snow down here? Before it even hits the ground, it just melts. Or when it hits the ground, it melts. And it doesn't stick. There is nothing outside, Phil, except for dripping water. I would just tell you, it looks like we should be at work, like you said. I think during all this, I have learned that I need to learn to fly. And I've always told you that I've been afraid, but I need to learn to fly a chopper or a helicopter because I would like to see some snow, but there's none out there. So that's how I'm feeling today. But, you know, it is what it is. A little frustrated. Wanted to go outside, throw a few snowballs at a few people, but couldn't do it.
Charlie wants some fun. Charlie wants to play. Can't play today.
As a kid, Matt, do you remember when you were looking down there at that, you know, you're watching Channel 7 or whatever, and you're like, is my school going to be out today? Is my school going to be out? That's exactly what I wanted today. But there was nothing, and I know growing up in Pittsburgh, Phil, you didn't have to worry, right? I mean, you guys went to school no matter what, right?
No, but Charlie, you have to understand. I mean, so I'll be 48 in a few days. There's this thing called AM radio, and some of these AM radio stations had morning radio programs that focused on news and weather and sports, and school closings were a very big part of the programming for these AM radio stations, which still do exist in many markets. And that's what that was. Now, I was one of the kids that actually listened to AM radio in the morning. I mean, I'm a radio geek, so that shouldn't surprise anybody. But that was a major part of growing up, was whether or not your school was going to be closed. And here's the other thing. I don't even know if they do that here. They would have a 2-hour delay, which would be the absolute worst. It'd be like, wait a minute. You mean we're going to have to sit around here for an extra 2 hours and then go to school and then come back? Why can't we just stay home, for crying out loud? So, yeah, that was a huge part of it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm with you. And we had radio down here back then, but it wasn't. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't like that. But no, man, it just stinks, man. It's like if I just go north about an hour, I could see some snow, but it just doesn't make much sense.
Well, do it, Charlie. It doesn't sound like you're at work today. If the roads are clear, go get in the Tuna-mobile. Keep it tuned to ESPN Arkansas, of course. Hit that Line app is probably what you're using, and drive north. Gee, nobody's keeping you from doing this. Just get on Highway 7, drive through Sparkman, get up through Arkadelphia, maybe see if you can make it to Caddo Valley, and if you can cross over I-30, get all the way to Bismarck and send us a photo.
Even go up to Y City.
Sounds like Charlie, I don't know, all of a sudden I think he's taking our advice.
My pops was a head
getting
football
in the car
coach
right
at
now.
Bismarck back in the day, so that's funny. He coached 1 year there at head football coach at Bismarck. But it would have been it would have been in the 90s. You know, it would have been like 88, 89, 91, somewhere around there.
But if Charlie's telling us that he so desperately wants to see snow that he's considering learning how to fly, I will never fly. Like I'm going to turn into John Madden if Charlie becomes a pilot. I will just bus everywhere in the country, including Hawaii. But if he so desperately wants to see snow and there's no snow on the ground in Camden, get in the car and go find snow, right? It's there. I mean, I know it's on the ground not too far from him, but apparently in Camden there's some kind of wild geographical thing that just keeps the snow from falling. It's like my old boss from the Travs, Bill Valentine, used to describe to you why it never rained at Ray Winder Field. And he would give you all the reasons, the topographic, the geographic reasons of where the ballpark was located relative to the hill near the river and everything. And he just say, well, all right, guess what's happening outside right now in the field? There's actually raining. So, Charlie, get in the car, keep it tuned to the station you always have it tuned to, and send us a photo from Sparkman, okay? Pretty please. 877-377-6963, but he's already got that number programmed in. We'll break. Neil Atkinson from Bet Saracen stops by right after this.
Matt Jones, sir, a player that I refer to that provided Hog Delight. You're a great ambassador for our program.
This is halftime. ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Up to $10,000 off or $7,000 off and 0% financing on select 2024 GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 24 GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off or take $7,000 in discounts and 0% financing with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today and see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $500 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a snore guard. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
Got a pest? Call West. If you have pest or termite problems in your home, call West today and learn how their 50 years combined experience can help solve your problems with competitive pricing and quality services, all designed with your pets and children in mind. Call today and schedule your free estimate. They even offer Saturday services and long life attic pest control. Call 782-7291. West Termite and Pest Control, protecting your home health and peace of mind.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
The Party Place has everything you need for special occasions. Super Bowl parties, Mardi Gras celebrations, Valentine's decorations, and more. Party supplies for 1 to 100. Shop the Party Place in Fort Smith.
The Party Place in the Tuesday Morning Building behind Ashley Furniture in Fort Smith.
Get ready for your party at the Party Place.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
Association.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
We get Neil Atkinson from Bet Saracen on an hour earlier than usual. Neil, it's okay. We're doing like extra golden hours this week. We did one yesterday just because we weren't sure if there'd be a show today. There is a show today, but it feels a lot different. It's like 3 golden hours anyway. So welcome in. It should just be like usual. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Yeah, my day's a little off too, because we the retail casino and last night making sure all the employees got home that were local and didn't have far to drive and that were gracious enough to stay and all of that. So yeah, it's been an interesting weather event for us. But I'll tell you one thing, I am sure glad that we have sports betting online on a mobile phone, because it would be real hard to get a sports bet if we only had retail and you had to go to the casino to make bets like it was a couple of years ago.
I'm just joking about this though, but you guys are really good with customer service, because if somebody poses a prop bet that makes sense, and there'll be people that have interest in it, you'll put it on the site. But I kind of wondered if maybe you'd put something up there about over under 11.5 inches of snow. It's just like an over under for points. We could do it for snow too.
Well, I'd have to get the gaming commission to let me do that if they would. But
can't bet on weather, huh?
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to do that one right there. But yeah, you could have some fun with that. But yeah, we're kind of locked down to mainly sports stats and props and things of that nature.
So how did it go yesterday in the Orange Bowl? Did the bettors come away with a few wins in Notre Dame's victory? It was 1.5, right?
Yeah, and we were fairly balanced on that game. There was a lean towards a Notre Dame on that particular game. So, but what really came in is that a lot of people very early in the live betting started betting the under, and if you look at that first half, I mean, it wasn't as interesting as the first half, and in that second half, boy, we had great playoff football, and it was an exciting second half. We probably the players would not have done as well if we wouldn't have had that scoring flurry in the second half, because we did have a lot of prop action on the game last night. We did, we did a little over $500,000 in bets on the game last night, which is a little bit more than we typically do on an NFL Thursday night game. So. That was really good, and it's just nice having 5 straight days of football in the middle of January to bet on and to watch. And now that we're all kind of snowed in, a lot of us are, nothing else better to do, so we might as well watch some college football playoffs and get a little betting action in.
Do you find in games like last night and then like in the Texas-Arizona State playoff game, that games that are tighter, when you get into the fourth quarter and there's back and forth and you don't know who's going to win, that your in-play betting, the play-by-play betting becomes something that kind of jumps off the page at people?
Yes, it does, especially if it's very, very close. And not so much because we don't have we only had one football game last night. Now, people parlayed it with NBA and college basketball, but yeah, typically when you get to the fourth quarter, you see a lot more because, if that's the last game in a parlay, you will see sometimes people will hedge bets or they'll double down. It's just interesting to see the behavior. But about midway through the fourth quarter, if it's a very, very tight game, there is a definite difference in the live betting than if it's a game that's already been that's it's a blowout or 2-score game about that time.
Well, tell me what you guys have at Bet Saracen for tonight's Cotton Bowl in terms of the spread and any of the props that might jump out.
Yeah, right now the line, I've seen it waver as early this morning to Ohio State -5.5. It's back to Ohio State -6.5 right now. The over and under is 52. Now, on the spread, what is very, very interesting is I just looked at what our current liabilities are. And this is Bet Saracen only. This is not nationwide. But 71% of the money is on Ohio State minus the 5.5/6.5, wherever the line has wobbled. So, and on the money line, 81% is on Ohio State. and 66% of the bets right now are on the over. What's interesting about that is when I'm looking around and seeing what all the different pick services and the pundits, a lot of people are saying take Texas in the points. So, that's what we want with playoff football, because you shouldn't have a double-digit favorite once you get to the semifinals. So we got good playoff football last night, exciting football, and tonight has the potential of being that. It's all going to be if Texas's defense can hold Ohio State, and whether Ohio State is still on that heater, because they mowed through Tennessee, they mowed through Oregon, and Texas has shown its vulnerabilities both against Georgia and that close game against Arizona State.
Television obviously is the reason why we have college playoff games Thursday and Friday, because you get the NFL playoffs Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and that truly, if you just like Super Bowl is NFL playoffs, of course, that's the king of ratings of television, of anything, is NFL playoffs. Did you find during the first round, when there were playoff games for college football and the NFL, people don't stay away from one or the other on the same day? And I just kind of would have expected that if you, this has got to be a Valhalla for sports betting, because there's all sorts of ability to put money on regular season games and more games because there's more teams playing. But when it comes to when there's nothing quite like playoff football for the viewing public, and I just imagine it's the exact same for the betting public.
Absolutely. And boy, I'll tell you what, I'm glad we had those early playoff games that were in the month last year, because I don't know if you've seen the stories, because the NFL just tore sports books a new one this year, and I think it was a record an amount of favorites that won in December was just absolutely phenomenal. We would have lost money in the sports book last month if we just had NFL. We lost a pretty good chunk on the NFL last month, and we just got our nose above water with college basketball and some of the favorable outcomes in the bowl games, and the betting public going against two of the favorites in the first round of the playoffs. So, last month was a banner month for the sports bettors. So they've got a lot of confidence right now, and they're firing away at us, and they've got a little bit of extra money sitting in those accounts to fire away at us, and they're taking the opportunity to do it.
What's been these first two games, SEC basketball, in terms of where the money has gone? Arkansas has not looked very good. They've lost the first couple of ball games, and I wondered if that's been reflected. It just kind of feels a little bit like the fan base, I won't say is down on the basketball program overall. It's just you're not getting the kind of results necessarily that you expected, considering the coach that was hired. Has this been reflected in the handle for basketball, or has it just been like it's been the last couple of years? We're up about 20% year over year in the amount of handle, and that is also true across the board for the Arkansas game. Now, for Arkansas, when they lost to Tennessee, that there was really no change for the Ole Miss game, it was what's to be expected. What's going to be the truth will be with what the level of betting is tomorrow when they're playing Florida, and the line's not quite out yet. I don't think it's been out. It comes out about 24 hours. I was hoping it would get out before we get on the air, but I haven't seen it just quite yet. Nope, still don't see it quite yet. But I'm guessing it's going to be around 9 points from some of my modeling. But tomorrow, I expect it to be down a little bit because you've got all the extra noise of the NFL playoffs tomorrow. So, people are probably going to spread their money around a little bit. We always see a little bit of a downturn anytime that Arkansas loses. And I think there was a lot of optimism going in once we started conference play. But, SEC in basketball is going to be something else this year. You got number one Tennessee loses to 30 points to Florida, and then Florida, they held with Kentucky in Rupp Arena, and now they're coming here to Fayetteville to play tomorrow. So let's see if we can't get them off their little run there. And
maybe they have a letdown after beating the number one team at the time in Tennessee, and Arkansas can get their first SEC win. I surely hope they do, because I've got enough business with college basketball and the NFL playoffs to absorb an Arkansas loss. And when Arkansas is winning, it's just better for us at Bet Saracen, because like we said earlier, when Arkansas is winning, the fan base is really behind them, and the betting fan base really gets behind them.
Don, look at this here. I see the first preseason props for who will be the College World Series champion. Tennessee, the favorite. A&M, second favorite. Hogs are the third favorite, plus 1,100. But fans got to do some research before they decide on that. It's just 36 days away from the season, and it's an option now too.
Yeah, I mean, we try to get these lines out as soon as we can, and as soon as that the data feeds do that. So it's nice seeing the representation of the SEC at the top there. I mean, of the top six, the SEC have the top five. I mean, after Arkansas at plus 1,100, you got LSU at plus 12, Florida at plus 1,750. Then North Carolina is the first non-SEC team. It's funny how the ACC kind of rounds out the next three. So yep, it's way too early, and of course, with Tennessee winning the national championship last year, that's always kind of a betting favorite, because people bet, like to bet on a winner. But there's not as much value in that pick as what you might find in Arkansas or some of these other teams that are a little bit lower in the run.
Neil, appreciate you. Hope you have a good weekend. Stay warm, stay dry, and we'll visit again next week. We'll be ready for divisional playoff games and be ready for the college football championship.
Absolutely. It's going to be a big weekend for us. And since a lot of us are snowed in, might as well be sitting there and open up the app, put a little friendly wager. Don't forget you got in-play wagers on all of these major games. And I like to remind everybody from time to time, bet with your head and not over it. Keep sports betting fun and entertaining. And good luck on all your parlays this weekend.
It's Neil Atkinson. Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app. You can download it from the App Store for your Apple iPhone, Google Play for Android users, or any web browser works, betsaracen.com. All right, we'll open up the lines again, 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on halftime, and we'll come back right after this.
Bye-bye, boys. Have fun storming the castle.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is Halftime.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Are you tired of the same old smelly gym? Then it's time to try something new. Let's hang out. The Hangout Fitness and Sports is the River Valley's only multi-sport family-friendly facility with a 24-hour gym and indoor courts for tennis and pickleball. With over 8,000 square feet for the gym alone, it's never overcrowded. The Hangout has certified trainers on staff with group personal training available. If HIIT, bar, yoga, or Pilates is your thing, they have that too. Join today and get January for free with a 3-month commitment. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
Ty Richardson, we're live here at First Financial Mortgage. I'm here with my friend Ethan Adamson. Ethan, I know I probably texted you 100 times during this process, man. I didn't know what I was doing. Luckily, you did.
Yeah, Ty. It was always great working with you. Glad we could help you get closed. A good loan officer is someone who can answer questions after hours, before hours, and be available when you're needed. We get pre-qualifications in, get buyers pre-qualified so they can search for homes and get them closed quick. Call 479-782-9300. Weekdays 8 to 5. FFB1.com. First Financial Mortgage, in the business of you, equal housing lender.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 Fort Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Hey everyone, Erica Jensen here at AAA Business Systems in Northwest Arkansas. Are you happy with your current office technology provider? Did you know that AAA Business Systems has been in business since 1979 and longer than any other provider in Northwest Arkansas? Listen up, I may be a Cajun girl at heart, but I'm a Razorback through and through. Call me today at 479-442-4185 to learn more about the one company that can truly change the way you work and remember anything else is just a copy.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down. When you're strange, faces come out of the rain. When you're strange, no one remembers your name. When you're strange, when you're strange, when you're strange. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are uneven when you're down.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I'm reading here on Whole Hog from RD, Danny West, 24/7, that A.J. Green is returning to the Arkansas football program. Former running back out of, where is he? He's from Tulsa. You remember he transferred to Tulsa briefly, didn't play for the Golden Hurricane, then goes to Oklahoma State. I think this was just kind of 1 month after the other. Was injured last year, so never got on the field for the Cowboys. The kicker to this, though, Matt Jones, is that while A.J. Green played running back at Arkansas previously, he is coming back to Arkansas as a walk-on defensive back. And he's apparently a pretty highly recruited cornerback coming out of high school, according to Danny's story on Hog Sports. So that's where he's going to finish his career, as a cornerback, but also as a walk-on. So that's kind of interesting.
You know, cornerback, there was a guy named Fred Talley that played running back for the University of Arkansas, and he was a cornerback as well. I think a Tony Bua, a high school running back that played defense. That's a good man. You got to be physical to play defense because you got to tackle. So if he likes to hit, let's go, man. We need some. We lost a lot of D-backs, it seems like, so we need some help in the secondary. We know he's got speed. What is it? He's a legit 4.4 guy, right? Like he's a real 4.4 guy.
That's the thing that made him stand out as a running back was kind of low to the ground, low center of gravity, and really quick, really fast. But that's interesting. Not surprised he's coming back to Arkansas. Looking at the running back position, you've only brought in one out of the portal. Danny just said yesterday he thought that they might need to get another running back, or they haven't necessarily. Maybe put it in a different term. They haven't replaced what it was that they lost. When you're looking at losing Dubinion and Jaquindon Jackson. So, I mean, there's a guy in Green that ran pretty well for a couple years at Arkansas, but now he's going to be a defensive back, and he's going to be a walk-on, too. 877-377-6963. So if we're just listing him as a transfer for the secondary, he is the sixth player to come in to play secondary. And I'm assuming he'd be a cornerback, so that'd be the fourth cornerback to come in as well. You got the safeties, Scandrett and Wooten out of Eastern Michigan and Auburn, Jordan Young, cornerback out of Cincinnati, Keyshawn Davila from Northwest Mississippi College, Kenai Walker from OU, and A.J. Green would be the four cornerbacks transferring into Arkansas now. And it's also with a different secondary coach. Remember, Darren Wilson took the defensive coordinator job at Georgia State, and I don't think they've hired somebody to be the secondary coach just yet. But, man, that is different. That is a lot different. But I also, I never thought about A.J. Green as like the running back that delivered the hit. But now we'll see what kind of a hit he can deliver as a cornerback.
Yeah, there's going to be some open competition. That's for sure in the secondary. What did we lose? Metcalf to Michigan. Lost a couple of other guys too. So, yeah, we're going to have to replace some people. Although, I mean, you're replacing people on a 6-6 team. I think our defense was our strongest quality, and then if something happens, I think of teammates like Brandon Holmes. Phil, he started a game at running back, started a game at middle linebacker. You never know; it's a war of attrition. You got something happens, or you lose your top three running backs. You can always slide him back over there, and he's capable of playing running back.
Yeah, and I've always believed, on an offensive side, you get guys on the offensive line, you'll mix and match. You can move, Sam does this sometimes. Danny talked about it yesterday, moving somebody from tackle to guard or center to guard or whatever. I mean, they're different positions, but it's all up near the front. It's just when somebody moved from one side of the ball to the other, it's a different mindset, isn't it? Especially as a cornerback, because you're going to be targeted. I mean, you are absolutely going to be targeted, and sometimes it's going to feel like the game might rest on your shoulders a little bit. And, the Arkansas secondary struggled this past year. I don't think there's any two ways about it. Nearly 250 yards per game in the air, and didn't get enough turnovers, to really make a difference. If I were to pick, a couple of things that you'd like to see for Arkansas to do better next year is to cover better in the secondary, not let guys get behind you, and to get to the quarterback a little bit more often as well. And I'm not sure if you've replaced, like Landon Jackson to me feels like kind of a special player. I don't know who's next up in terms of that sort of talent at defensive end.
I know you didn't get to watch much of the game last night, Phil, but they had a guy, Penn State did, as a defensive end, and to exactly what you're talking about, we got to go find. They had a dude, number 13. He could only play with one arm, so his left arm wasn't working, so he had to line up on the left side and keep his right arm inside to you, and he's doing outside rush, and he's still getting to the quarterback. That's how talented he was.
So back on yesterday's game, and again, I might have seen like 3 plays. It's just there's too much going on. A basketball game to call. Then we're in transit to the Auburn airport. Then we get on the airplane, and while it's nice to have charter travel, the airplanes don't have internet, so couldn't watch the Orange Bowl last night. But there was criticism, and I wonder if this is even warranted, for the decision to have Aller throw the ball when they have the football 33 seconds left back in their own territory. And I keep thinking, like, Drew Aller had a really good season this year. He might not have had a good Orange Bowl, but he was a very good college quarterback with something to build on, and he'll come back next year for his last year in Happy Valley. All they needed to do was find a way to get to the 35, maybe the 40-yard line. I'd seen where the longest field goal for their kicker was 49 yards. So if you feel maybe, if you can get to the 40, maybe give him a chance and see if he's got the leg to do it. It's not like the weather was bad in Miami yesterday. So I don't know if I buy into the idea that they should have just sat on the ball and gone for overtime, because if you have 2 timeouts, 33 seconds, and you need to gain something like 55 to 60 yards, I don't see what the problem is with it. What do you think, Matt?
Well, it was his 4th read. It was everybody going left. You got a high-low read with a 3rd guy coming across, and then your 4th read is that basic route or in route that he's coming back to, and everything was covered. You're supposed to have a conversation the week before, the week in meetings, and then you'll have a conversation before you go out there, the quarterback coach, to say, hey, look, if he's open, throw it to him. If he's not, you throw it away. You throw it into row Z. You can even take a sack right there. The only thing you can't do right there is turn the ball over. And it's one he wants back, but it's something you're in contact with your coach. And I tell you, Phil, we had like a 13-play drive, and I threw an interception in the red zone, and coach is just like, what's going? You know better than that, especially at the end of a big drive. You got to come away with points. It's a mistake. That 100% is on the quarterback. It's not on the OC. It's not on the head coach. You got faith in your all-conference quarterback. Just got to make a better play right there. I thought sometimes earlier, especially in the first half, they left some points out there, and Drew Aller played I don't even think he played a C game, Phil. I don't even think you could say he played a C- game. That was probably one of the worst games I've seen out of a quarterback this year.
Here's Drew Aller post-game on that interception.
A question for Drew. Can you just walk us through the interception?
Yeah, I was going through my progression, got to the backside, and honestly, I was just trying to dirt it at his feet, but I should have just thrown it away when I felt the first 2 progressions not open just because of the situation we were in. But I was just trying to dirt it at Amari's feet, but just didn't execute what I was trying to do.
Yeah, and end up with and look, it was a great play too by the Notre Dame defender. It was who was it that intercepted that? But again, I didn't get my eyes on the game, so. But he said it was Christian Gray. Pardon me. He said all I was thinking is trying to dive, catch it. So it looked like Aller did try to throw at his feet. It's just Gray made an amazing play, and that's what Drew Aller takes into the offseason, the feeling that the game was on his shoulders. And if you were to point to a reason why Penn State lost, I guess you might put the quarterback at the top of the list here. That's tough. And he comes back for another year for a fan base that is, man, it's like, I just wonder about, do they view it as, hey, we got to the Final Four? Just think of a basketball program that hasn't been to a championship level for over 25 to 30 years and are finally part of a Final Four once again. Don't make it to the championship game. Don't win. Don't get to cut down the nets. But, it's like the confetti for Penn State after the last game that they win in the quarterfinals. And I can't remember what stadium that game was played in, or the bowl game that it was. But they had all the confetti coming down and everything, and that means you're a champion. Well, 10 days later, you're no longer a champion. There's no more confetti, and you really don't feel like that any longer. It's just it's a whole different situation. 877-377-6963. Sorry, Matt.
You don't make it to that position. It's hard to get there, Phil, to your question. And if you're a Penn State fan, no, you're miserable. There's a black cloud over the entire Nittany Lion pride. It's they beat themselves. That's what hurts you. Notre Dame didn't take it. Notre Dame didn't whoop you. Penn State was in control of that game. Notre Dame had a little run there. They were able to get a field goal at the end of the third quarter, and I knew they'd score a touchdown. They were able to do that and make it a game 100%. But really Penn State, you got to be – you're kind of kicking yourself in the foot because that game was theirs to win.
And it fits perfectly right into the narrative about Penn State under James Franklin. And this is not a narrative that's made up. This is real. This is truth. They don't win the big games. And beating SMU and Boise in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs are not the same as playing Michigan, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. And when you add the 4th team in there in Penn State, these are the 4 beasts. And you can't even put Penn State in that category now in terms of a beast. Notre Dame's back to that level, playing for a national championship now. When you think of the major programs of the Northeast and the Midwest, you think of, I think, those 4 schools near the top of the list, if not right at the top of the list, and Penn State can't beat any of them. So it's not a narrative. It's the truth. And we'll come back and wrap up the second hour of halftime right after this.
She's a peacock. You got to let her fly, man. Or your girl, Fat Amy in Pitch Perfect. It's like she's a free-range pony. You got to let her go, man. Let her neigh.
This is halftime.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the tools and service for your Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke. You trust your truck to deliver on your needs, and you can trust your truck at Extreme Diesel. 6630 Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma. Check them out on Facebook or give them a call at 651-3363. They're bilingual, now offering CP4 solutions for both Chevy and Ford.
Waldron Wave Rural Connect.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball to NHL and UFC, head to BetOnline today and don't forget to use the promo code BELIEVE for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Hey everybody, this is Tyson Van. Dad, tell everyone about your job at Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
Power washing, son. I've been working in the business for over 15 years, all over the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas, residential or commercial. At Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash, our cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more.
Call my dad at 479-763-5561.
Mike
Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call, cleans it all.
With a new Lux Cravings box from Taco Bell, $7 goes a long way. A cheesy gordita crunch stacked with layers of luxury. A Doritos Locos Tacos, extravagantly crispy. A beefy 5-layer burrito overflowing with cheesy indulgence. It's all you want and more. For less. The new $7 Lux Cravings box from Taco Bell. It's Lux for less.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line
resource or check them out online at InStockParts.com. In Stock Parts.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
You hear those cavalry drums, in your equilibrium, and that snack in my mausoleum, and a pixelated doctor's mom. Carnivals in the cabin light, breathing free on by the candlelight. No cats, bitch, slap you so polite, till you beg them for the tea and sympathy.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Tire catalog. All right, we have now reached peak text line. Ryan in Prairie Grove set a couch on fire outside. I'm assuming this is somewhere near where he lives in Prairie Grove. He actually told us earlier in the hour, 44 minutes ago to be exact, that he was about to burn a couch, and he was not lying. There it is. You see the Matt, I don't know if you got the text line up. Christian, I know you do. You see this. It looks like it used to be a couch. Yeah, you can see the frame. It's flames, nothing but flames. A lot of snow around it, too, and nothing else. So I guess that's burning a couch safely? Can you do such a thing? That's pretty.
West
like
Virginia.
Ryan belongs in Morgantown. That's right.
Yeah, as I say, they know what they're doing out there.
You picked a great day to start burning.
Yeah, it's just. I guess it's a brand new snow day activity. Snowball fights, make a snowman, go sledding, just go for a walk in the snow. I see people making snow ice cream, or burn a couch. All these things, I guess, are pretty much the same idea of fun, right? Snow ice cream too. You better get it right when it falls, like literally right when it falls. I'm going to go out and have a snowball fight later. I'm not eating any of this snow, because who knows what's falling since then. You're not quite sure what's in the air every once in a while, are you? Golden Hour's coming up. Feels like we've already had 2 hours of nothing but Golden Sports Talk anyway, and there's one more to go. We'll have a lot of time for your calls and your texts at 877-377-6963. We get a text from Jim in Mountainburg wishing a happy birthday to Rod Stewart, 80th. He is 80 today. And how do you celebrate your birthday if you're Rod Stewart? Do you spike your hair any more than it already is? Do you go find somebody who's 25 years old to take out on a date? He's been married 3 times, 8 kids by 5 different women, and Jim in Mountainburg's got it all counted out.
Rod Stewart.
Then again,
Settle
not
down.
everybody can, look that good in hot pants, can you? Hour number 3 at halftime.
He's doing a total Benjamin Button thing. He's aging in reverse.
And Tony Bennett nearly did the same thing, too. Golden Hour's coming up. Stay with us. We'll try to make sense of some of this sports.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson, my buddy Simon Wheeler with Wheeler Power Sports. Stop by the studio. Simon, what's going on post-Christmas?
If you have a name brand motorcycle, ATV, or side-by-side you would consider selling or trading, call or text or use bike buyers at 479-783-5822 or visit us online at wheelerpowersports.com. Buy, sell, or trade Wheeler is the one for 2025. Try to be Fort Smith's authorized dealer for Kawasaki, Suzuki, Polaris, and Slingshot.
Simon Wheeler at Wheeler Power Sports in downtown Fort Smith, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
Listen up, crappie anglers. When it comes to crappie fishing, there's only one Baby Shad. The original Baby Shad, crappie fishing's #1 selling bait. Featuring a sleek back, streamlined belly, and quivering tail, that bait just won't stop moving, no matter the temps, no matter the conditions. Built for dead sticking and action-based techniques also, the original Baby Shad gets right to the point, catching slabs and filling freezers. Bobby Garland Crappie Baits, the leader in crappie fishing innovation.
Old Man Winter is here, bringing cold, nasty weather. And Jelco Outdoors has all the gear to keep you warm and dry. Insulated coats, jackets, overalls, coveralls, thermal socks, and gloves. For kids, up to men's 4X. Jelco Outdoors has the largest selection of winter boots in the River Valley to keep your feet warm and dry. Need a portable heater? Jelco has plenty of Mr. Heater portable propane heaters and accessories. Come see us at Jelco Outdoors. Stay safe and stay warm this winter. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith, your cold weather store.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. The best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world. Rachel's at Papa's right now. Rachel, what do you think?
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. The best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
You can check out their menu at papaspub.com. Fergie, how about you?
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. The best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Come on by and see us at Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Occasional snowfall, could see some very heavy snow at times, an additional 1 to 3 inches of snow possible. That's going to bring our total up to about 6 to 8 north, about 9 to 10 south. Trace amounts up to 1/4 inch of ice as well. Temperatures today mid to upper 30s, a cold one tonight mid to upper teens. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
You're listening to ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
Tommy's right on this one. Do you feel? Let me ask you this.
Normal around here.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that we respect you. Actually, if I'm all right, what can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Matt Jones, man, take it to the house. The dunk.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
The angles were so bad, we showed them at halftime.
What they for one racerback?
Like, what in the world were we thinking?
It's vintage Matt Jones.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
All right, it's our last hour of seriousness for the week. No more work for the rest of the day, right? Hour number 3 of halftime, 1 minute after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Ruskin and Zach, I'm assuming we're able to make it to the ESPN 99.5 studios for their radio show today. They'll take up to the time for the pregame for the Cotton Bowl tonight. We'll see who's going to be playing the Notre Dame Fighting Irish for the right to call themselves national champions. 6:30 kickoff on ESPN with Ohio State and Texas. Usually the pregames begin 6 o'clock for a 6:30 game. And by the time we reconvene, Matt, we're going to know what the national championship game looks like. Ohio State, I think, should get a win. But I also know that the Texas Longhorns are a very talented team. They have a lot of speed on both sides of the ball. Defensively, they might be the best team in the country. Nothing is a given, even though the favorites have been the winners in every game so far in the college football playoff. I'm assuming that continues today.
So this stat, and I've told Phil, I know we've talked about this before, but as a quarterback, if you get man coverage, your eyes light up because we can do that. Timing beats, you know where you're going. Just make a list of reasons why you can beat man coverage. So Quinn Ewers is the top 3 quarterback in the country going against cover 1. But then he's outside the top 60 when he's going against the cover 2 defense. And you know what Ohio State plays mostly lately? The cover 2 defense. So it's going to be interesting. But if you can run the ball, it gets them out of that cover 2. And so we'll see what's going to happen. Styles make fight, like we say. And you're exactly right, Phil. I think this is the collection of, as far as your roster, talent, spending your NIL money, these are 2 of the best teams' money right now in this new world of college football as far as talented rosters, quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, defense. There's players everywhere. These are 2 of the best teams' money can buy for college football.
So from what you're saying, I mean, it sounds like Quinn Ewers is a completely different quarterback going up against cover 2 than any other kind of coverage that he can face. So Bill King on Tuesday, I'm pretty sure he told us he thought that Ohio State would have to go pass to run because Texas is very good up front against the run, though, ask Cam Scatterbo about that. And I'll say this, though, Scatterbo's hard running was one of the reasons that he had such a great game. It sounds like for Texas, the number one key for the game, at least on the offensive side, is the ability to run the ball and open things up for Ewers and those receivers. Otherwise, he's a different quarterback.
Yeah, if you're going to get 3rd and 11, 2nd and 7, you're going to get long down situations. Then you invite a zone blitz. You invite just all sorts of things. But then also they're able to sit back and play a cover 2 and keep everything in front of them and run fit. That was the thing last night, Phil, that I was so impressed with Penn State, how they run fit. Any time that they were going to go against the run. Notre Dame was trying to run the ball early. Man, they were run fitting so well. They were tackling well. And then, it got away from them. But that's what Texas does. Texas is able to stop the run and get after you on defense. I don't know. Do you think that if Texas was able to get – you're not – Ohio State surely – if you're down 10, you're still not worried really. But if you're Texas and you get down early, maybe you're in trouble.
That's what I mean. That's right. Then the defense can kind of sit back a little bit and feel like, well, they've got to throw the ball here. And looking at the games that Texas lost this year or should have lost, if you're looking at Arizona State, they probably should have lost that game. They don't run the ball when it comes time when they lose. The 2 losses against Georgia, they ran for a total of 60 yards. And I know that there are a lot of sacks thrown in there. I think the first game against Georgia, didn't the Bulldogs get Ewers down like 7 or 8 times? But then Arizona State, they only rushed for 53 yards, and that's a game that they probably should have lost. Otherwise, it's a team that routinely will get over 150, and I figure they probably have to get to that mark today, if not a little bit more, to open the offense up, because I do just expect, as good as the Texas defense is, Matt, Ohio State's going to get their points. They're just too talented. There's too much speed, both in terms of who can run and who can get open down the sidelines. So I think Texas is going to have to score maybe a little bit more than usual to think of a victory. They give up 31 to Arizona State. That's the most points they'd allowed in a win this year. So I imagine Ohio State's going to get to that level again. I think Texas might have to have their best game offensively, and I wonder if they can pull it off later tonight. I hope they don't. I'll root against them today. I'm not rooting against Ohio State or rooting for Ohio State, but I'm certainly going against the burnt orange.
Well, if you look at Ohio State so far in this college football playoff, they're getting out on you early, and Texas is a lot like Oregon, man. It might just be a bad matchup. Texas, if you're going to beat Texas, they don't like to be hit in the face. They don't like to be hit in the mouth, and that's what Ohio State's going to do. That's what they did to Oregon, jumped out on them. Oregon wants to get in a track meet. Same thing with Texas. They want to spread you out. They want to get high tempo. They want to get you going and get in a track meet where they can get 2, 3, 4 plays off in a minute and a half. They want to get in a game like that. So it's like I said, styles make fights. I think this is a great matchup where Texas does some things really good. Ohio State does some things really good. Who can kind of take advantage? Who can somebody get 2 turnovers? Can somebody get a special teams touchdown? I think this game's going to be explosive. I look at Chip Kelly and Sarkisian as two of the best play callers in college football. I think Lane Kiffin's up there as well. So you're going to have two offenses, I think, that are going to have confidence. They got playmakers everywhere. I think you're going to see fireworks. I think you're going to see both teams scoring in the 30-point range. But to your point, do you think that's the only way Texas can win? If they can hold Ohio State under 24, that's a big ask. I don't know how many times people hold this Ohio State team under 24, but maybe they can't let the game get ahead of them if Texas wants a chance to win.
I think Texas needs to try to keep the game in the 20s. You know, they needed overtime to get into the 30s against Arizona State. And again, you know, there were a couple calls here and there, and that made it seem that Texas should have lost that game anyway. But I'd say if Ohio State gets to 31, I think that'll be enough for them in this game. So other news for college football: Carson Beck. What was it a couple days ago? He went into the portal. Today he's going to be a Miami Hurricane. Can't be a surprise. He's been dating Haley Cavender, one of the two famous Cavender twins, who were right after he made his announcement that he's going to Miami. Hannah Cavender, it's not Haley, tweets, "It's a great day to be a Miami Hurricane." Is it tampering if your girlfriend is an athlete at the school that you decide to go to? It can't be tampering in that case because it's just following your heart, right? Here's another aspect of something you don't have to worry about in college football or in professional sports is, hey, my wife or my girlfriend is playing third base for your team over here, so I'm going to come join your athletic program. Doesn't quite work that way. So now Beck follows Cam Ward as the. Wouldn't it be interesting too? Because remember, Beck was a guy that scouts were looking at potential. I shouldn't say scouts. Mock draft guys said that Beck would be potentially the number one pick in the draft. If we were to go to 12 months ago today, you'd see stories that say Carson Beck will be the number one pick in the draft or could be the number one pick in the draft. And obviously he was told, you're not getting drafted, so he goes back into college. And it ends up maybe Cam Ward is the top overall pick. He could be. He very well could be because the Titans need a quarterback, and I think they're going to be picking between Shedeur and Cam Ward. So you get the guy who could be the number one pick, who will be replaced by the guy who might have been the number one pick a year ago but never even got drafted. So who knows if Miami's the place for Beck to get back into those viewed the same way.
Cam Ward from Wazoo last year, he did the same thing, if you remember right. He went and jumped into the draft or kind of got some advice and didn't like his grade, and then he ends up down at Miami. Who's the next? I saw Malachi Hughes is going to Oregon. I wonder who the next quarterback at Oregon is going to be. But you see some of these teams, and you see what they're you can see exactly what they're trying to do, what their GM is doing. Look at what Notre Dame's done. They went and got Sam Hartman. They went and got Riley Leonard. Veteran guys, ACC guys that have played a lot of snaps. Look what Miami's doing. They're going and getting guys that have played a lot of games. What is Oregon doing? Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel. Who's the next guy? You can kind of see the pattern at some of these teams are having success and the type of quarterback they're going after to get.
It's an experienced quarterback that has played a lot, not just a little bit of college football, but a lot. I mean, Riley Leonard's in his fifth year. Sam Hartman, fifth year. You think about the need to develop players at that position, and it's not like they're coming in as a finished product, but they've been developed to that point. They've been guys who've won games to that point. And that is a philosophy. You can see it. I mean, Notre Dame will end up doing the same thing next year. Maybe the year after that as well, although it's like you continue to recruit high school quarterbacks with the idea that who knows if he's going to turn into the kind of player that you thought he would be. I mean, there's so many examples of that to go around, and with what goes into playing that position, maybe it makes more sense as long as you got the right amount of NIL money to offer to go get the best and most experienced and winning quarterbacks that you can possibly find. The thing with Ward and Beck, though, is a little different because Beck he went to Georgia coming out of high school. Like Cam Ward was barely even recruited. Incarnate Word to Wazoo to Miami. to maybe being the number one pick. If he's going to be a first-round pick, he'll be top 10. He might be number one overall. It's a little bit different than Beck because, hey, Miami had a good year and everything, but I'd say Georgia's a better overall program. So it's a slight step down. It's not like a major step down.
You know who would fit that Oregon personnel, that Oregon scheme, just unbelievable. It would be a perfect fit, Arch Manning. I don't know who the next quarterback of Oregon's going to be, but when Quinn Ewers comes back for another year at Texas, you know it, and it'll be interesting to see if Arch Manning's going to ride the pine again and just kind of do this 2-quarterback thing, because eventually you want to play. That doesn't mean you want to get there too early. I mean, you want to be ready, but it'd be interesting to see what Texas does. It's a good problem for Texas to have.
877-377-6963 is our number for calls and texts on halftime. We'll break. Much more coming up after this.
I just don't understand why people don't turn their blinker on and just think it's okay to stop in the middle of the road.
This is halftime.
3 on the way, and it's gone. It's over. Denver goes over. The number 1 team in the country is defeated, and they are rushing the court at Budweiser Arena. They are rushing the floor at Budweiser Arena. Don't dance on that, huh? Don't do that. No.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Hey, this is Dr. Cole Johnson at River Valley Smile Center. You hear my partner, Dr. Charles Liggett, at 12:15 on halftime every Monday. Dr. Liggett and I have worked at River Valley Smile Center together for 11 years now. Like the Hogs, we have a great team. Do you have a unique dental procedure, a complex dental problem, or are you just nervous about dental work? Come see me for sedation dentistry, implants, implant-supported dentures, as well as cosmetic dentistry. We are located at 8309 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith at the River Valley Smile Center. Check us out online at rivervalleysmiles.com or call 479-646-0706.
Old Man Winter is here, bringing cold, nasty weather. And Jelco Outdoors has all the gear to keep you warm and dry. Insulated coats, jackets, overalls, coveralls, thermal socks, and gloves. For kids, up to men's 4X. Jelco Outdoors has the largest selection of winter boots in the River Valley to keep your feet warm and dry. Need a portable heater? Jelco has plenty of Mr. Heater portable propane heaters and accessories. Come see us at Jelco Outdoors. Stay safe and stay warm this winter. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith, your cold weather store.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Looking to protect yourself and your family this flu season? Law's Drug Store at 6802 Rogers Avenue offers the latest vaccines for adults and seniors in both COVID-19 and the flu. Law's Drug Store has friendly pharmacists ready to assist you with no appointment necessary. Call 452-6116. It's quick, it's easy, and in most cases, free with your insurance. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Open 6 days a week to care for you and your family.
Designed by Jason Christie, the Booyah Finesse Covert Spinnerbait doesn't just bring the fight, it dominates. Choose from 3 blade options: Colorado for maximum thump, Willow for bright flash, and the one the pros won't talk about, the Oklahoma blade. Perfectly balanced for subtle vibration, multiple flash points, and unmatched versatility. The Oklahoma blade is your secret weapon for pressured waters. Precision engineering, tournament proven, and one mission: dominate. Booyah Finesse Covert Spinnerbait, here for one thing.
Hey everyone, Braden Webb here at AAA Business Systems in Northwest Arkansas. You may remember me from my days playing baseball for the Hogs. Now I'm hitting home runs for AAA Business Systems and enhancing the ways company do business in our area. If you want to partner with the best office technology provider in Northwest Arkansas, call me today at 479-442-4185. Let's win together, and remember, anything else is just a copy.
Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
She didn't care, but anyway, I told her we'd still be friends, and she didn't care, but anyway, I tried last week what to call her, she wasn't home, but anyway, I spend my life, but I really don't care right now. But anyway, the state of affairs and the state of emotion, the kind of thing that you must understand. I'll tell you one thing, you tell me, and then we walk away, maybe then shake hands.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Never made it through some of the birthdays today to get to. Got some good birthdays, especially for music. Mentioned Rod Stewart turns 80 today. I saw where Billy Joel and Rod Stewart are going to have a couple of concert dates together, one in Pittsburgh, one in New York. Never thought those two would be performing together. It's not quite the same music. Donald Fagen from Steely Dan turned 77 today. Don't call it yacht rock. If you've seen the yacht rock documentary on Max recently, but the very end of it, the guy who made the movie is on the phone with Donald Fagen trying to get him to come on and speak about his style of music. And when he heard what he was calling the documentary and basically the style of music that he doesn't want to be classified as, he said something which would get me fired on this show. But then he had his manager call them up again and say, we'll give you 6 songs you can play for the movie anyway. Pat Benatar turned 72. She's one of the most badass rock and roll musicians ever. And looking at sports, George Foreman is 76 today and maybe still thinking about getting in the ring at 76. Wasn't he like 47, 48 or something when he still held a world championship? I still remember, like when Foreman came back to boxing, I was still into boxing then. And my father, who has always been into boxing, was just beside himself that this was the same guy from the 70s, but was a completely different, at least public figure. He was viewed just as a scary man. I mean, you're a boxer, you are a scary man, but in the 70s, he wasn't like the smiling pitch man that I kind of remember from the 90s, who would also go in the middle of the boxing ring and beat up a man who was like 20 years younger than him when he beat Michael Moore for the world championship. So, George Foreman, Matt, is kind of one of those lives and careers that's just a one of one.
Oh man, the Foreman grill. I think it came with whatever your dorm room was in college. You just plugged one in right there. And
was every baseball clubhouse I was ever in. That's for sure.
Yeah, Jermaine Clement, one of my favorite actors. Flight of the Conchords is what he did. He only came out for 2 seasons.
Oh, that's the guy with the teeth and the glasses, right?
Yeah. And he's a Ken Norton today. Him and Brett did the Flight of the Conchords, and they have a really funny special where they sing songs and stuff. And if you're into art, I know Phil Elson, it's got to be before 2000 for you to be into it.
Well, I'm just not into the art kind of
You
stuff.
had kids, you got other things going on in life.
Pretty much describes it. Once you have kids, you cannot remember things any longer. Some other sports birthdays here. Glenn Robinson, Big Dog, former Purdue Boilermaker, is turning 52 years old today. And I'm pretty sure I saw Robinson playing for Purdue my last year at Indiana when he was a Boilermaker. I think he was a National Player of the Year, too, and a first overall pick. Jake Delhomme has a birthday today. 50 years old today. Is he the greatest Carolina Panther quarterback ever?
Who took him to the?
Well, Cam Newton too. Cam Newton. Got to remember about Cam Newton.
Did they go to 2 Super Bowls though? Who was their quarterback that took them to that first Super Bowl when they beat?
It was Delhomme.
Was it Delahomey? Yeah, they got
It
beat
was
by
Jake
by St. Louis. That's right, man.
I can't think of another quarterback they've had. That's pretty bad.
Baker Mayfield, Cam Newton.
Oh, they had. Oh yeah, besides Delhomme and Newton, I can't really think of another. That's bad.
I think Andy Dalton might have even trotted out there a couple times.
The Super Bowl that he lost, I think would have been the second Patriots championship.
They got beat by Vinatieri, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the case. But he had a good career, Jake Delhomme, from Louisiana. He would have been playing for Louisiana Lafayette when it was still called Southwestern Louisiana. It's been a long time too, and 50 years old today. He would have been the MVP of that Super Bowl if they'd have won. He had a tremendous game. I mean, a great game. See some other sports birthdays, if any of them stand out. Adam Kennedy, former Traveler. That's the only reason I mention it. Kennedy was traded off the Travelers roster to the Angels, and that's how the Cardinals got Jim Edmonds. Kennedy was part of that trade. He's got a birthday today. He's also 50 years old. 50 is the next big one for me, Matt. I'll be 48 in 4 days. I didn't worry about 30. I didn't worry about 40. 50 is kind of staring me in the face as a big fat number. Not quite sure what to make of it.
Lucky you, man. That'd be cool to be the big 5-0, 2 years left. Your girl Elaine Bennis, she turns 64 tomorrow. So that'd be Will You Still Love Me When I'm 64? That's Elaine Bennis.
Wow, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus is still about as funny as anybody.
I love her. Have you seen Veep? Did you ever watch her in Veep? Oh my!
I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've watched a good few episodes. It's
hilarious.
New Adventures of Old Christine. You know, she's probably had the best career post Seinfeld of any of those stars. You know, Jason Alexander ended up going back to theater, continues to do theater. Michael Richards. He's never bounced back from.
He kind of ran his mouth one time, didn't he? Yeah.
Yes, he sure did. Seinfeld is obviously still big, just not quite at that level. But I'd say Julia's probably had the best career of any of them. Although, why am I forgetting your boy from Breaking Bad? Because he's.
Will you pass me another stickle of fluoride?
That's exactly right. He was going to be.
No, it offends me as a comedian.
Then he said he wanted to be a dentist for the jokes and be a Jewish guy for the jokes. Bryan Cranston, that's right.
I think I'm going to get there a little early and do some light reading before my next appointment.
877-377-6963. It's the home stretch of the golden hour. Don't forget to download, if you don't already have it, and if you're listening to us now, you might have it, the Hit That Line Now app. It's fueled by Taco Bell and the $7 Lux Cravings box with 3 full-size classics, chips, nacho cheese sauce, and a drink. And it's Taco Bell bringing you the Hit That Line Now app, where every bite is a win. Home stretch is coming up after the break. Stay with us here on Halftime.
Man, I love y'all, man. I'm telling you, y'all really help me. Y'all get me through the day every day.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line Now.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1225. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225 or biglou.com.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Waldron Wave Rural Connect. Internet is now available in your area. Fast fiber internet and full-featured home phone are ready for you. This covers areas around Waldron, Bates, Winfield, Y-City, and more. Check out your address online today. The best whole home solution of internet and phone, all from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today and see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $500 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
What's better than getting something for free? Winning. With the $5 bundle from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery, you get the chance to do both. For $5, you get 3 tickets, a Powerball ticket with Power Play, a Mega Millions ticket, and a free Natural State Jackpot ticket. That's 3 ways to win. So ask for the $5 bundle today. Bundle is eligible with Quick Picks only. Offer ends February 28th. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Has your spouse suddenly entered the transfer portal, going from a franchise player to a prima donna ready to take the money and run? Don't let her get away with a huge buyout. Be proactive and call Mock Legal Solutions today to ask about custody, alimony, and child support. 479-769-1505. Because even in divorce, the best offense is a good defense. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
I think we should start seeing other people.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird Real Estate Group has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I was lost in trouble and strife. I heard a voice, and it changed my life. Now it's a brand new day, and I ain't afraid to say you're not alone when you're down and out, and I think you know who I'm talking about. I don't know how I'll get through. I ask myself, what would Willie do? What would Willie do? Well, he travels so far, nothing but a song and his old guitar, and a tour bus and some semi-trucks, 30 crewmen and a little bit of luck.
Let's just turn it in.
Well, he loves all the people, the ugly and the randy. If you don't believe me, take a look at the family and they'll tell you that it's true. When skies are gray, what would Willie do?
Find halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Super Bowl 38 that Jake Delhomme's Panthers lost to the Patriots, Matt, would have been February 1st, 2004, 32-29. How many? I forget how many Super Bowls the Pats won that came literally on the foot of Adam Vinatieri at the very end of a game. That would be one of them. At least 2 or 3. Certainly the first 2 that they won came on Vinatieri's foot. He's eligible. I think isn't he a finalist for the Hall of Fame? Should be coming up soon. That's a guy. Look, I mean, if you're going to put a kicker in on the first ballot, that would be a guy to do it. At least I would assume to put him on.
A lot of big kicks. Him and David Akers.
That first ballot.
David Akers was at Philly. It was kind of those 2 were your best kickers in the league then. And then you had, Janikowski out west, but he never really made it. Was he on that Super Bowl team with Gruden that lost to the Bucs? Because Gruden was there with the Raiders. Then he went to Tampa Bay, and they beat the Raiders the next year in the Super Bowl. Janikowski might have been on that Raiders team, I believe.
For some reason, I was thinking about that game the other day. I think there was an Arizona State fan that found Cam Scatterbo at a bar the night before their game against Texas. But he's there with his family. His family was drinking. He was not. All he was doing was having family time. And there was nothing wrong that he did. And obviously, the way he played proved that. Who was you remember, like Eugene Robinson, I think, for Super Bowl that the Falcons were supposed to play against Denver. I think he got caught with a prostitute and some drugs the night before. And then who was the center?
The center for the Raiders that went to Mexico.
That's the one I'm thinking about.
Yeah. He went to Mexico.
The Raiders center.
Mental health, yeah.
It was the day before the game. Barrett Robbins. Barrett Robbins was his name. That's that one. Like the Eugene Robinson thing is obviously quite weird, but to me the Barrett Robbins thing was even weirder. And it's like, you lose your starting center the day before the Super Bowl. I can't imagine you're going to pick up a Super Bowl win, and they did not.
One of the things that I'll never forget is after the game came out and you hear the players talk about the game and everything that happened, the Raiders didn't change their audibles from when Gruden was there. They had their rich game. They had their same audibles were the same things they were doing in that Super Bowl, which, I mean, you're not going to win if the other team knows your play. Just go ask everybody that had to play against Michigan last year.
I had no idea. That's wild. That is wild. I mean, teams change their signs so often, even for no reason, just to change them because they're paranoid.
You have to. Yeah, that's right.
Can't remember who the coach of the Raiders was for that Super Bowl, because it's kind of difficult to keep up with the comings and the goings of the Oakland, Los Angeles, Vegas Raiders.
He had black hair.
It was Callahan. Bill Callahan.
Yeah, Callahan. That's right. Yep.
The guy who turned Nebraska, around in a way that nobody wants to turn a program around. If I remember, I think Callahan. Was it Callahan or was it the athletics director, Steve Peterson, that ordered the historic photos of great Nebraska players on the walls in the athletics department? I remember reading about this. They ordered those photos to be taken off the walls. Like, wait a minute, aren't we talking about tradition here and everything? Callahan, I think, lasted a year or maybe 2 with Nebraska, and he lasted 2 years with Oakland. Now the Raiders are looking for a new coach as well, Matt. I mean, it's craziness. I mean, they'll be on there. I think this will be the 4th coach in the last 5 years. And I saw, now Brady's a part owner. So he's not supposed to have, like, voting shares, but you're not going to have Tom Brady as a part owner of the team and expect that he's not going to have some kind of influence on who the next coach is. And I'd read where they wanted to talk to Belichick. Wouldn't that be interesting if Belichick then goes – now, to me, when I'm following Belichick on X, he seems to be knee-deep in recruiting right now. I mean, I'm looking at 4 different photos of Belichick in a suit and tie, either in schools, at a locker room for a football team with kids, or in those kids' parents' kitchens. So he's doing the whole thing right now of being a college football coach. But wouldn't that be something else if he, because you'd wondered, like, if the Jets were to come calling, because obviously he wanted to get back into coaching and he wanted to get back into the NFL specifically. If the Raiders were the team to call and it's Brady instead of Brady working for him, and he could be working for Brady at that would just be a very odd kind of a conversation to have. But also, if you're Tom Brady, it worked one time, maybe it could work a second time.
I mean, the Raiders scare me a little bit. I'm trying to think of the talent they have or the talent that they don't have. I mean, you do have a young tight end that's on his way, but I don't know who any of their quarterbacks are. I don't know who their running backs are. You look at their I mean, Jacoby Myers, he's solid. Brock back, you kind of looking at a talent. If you're going to be at for the Las Vegas Raiders, there's a lot of overhaul that has to happen before you're going to be successful or have a chance to win. I mean, aren't they with the Chiefs, the Broncos? Who's all in their division? You start thinking who's on their. The Raiders aren't winning any games anytime soon. Yeah, they're not. You got the worst quarterback in the group. You got to make upgrades if you're the Raiders.
You'd be the worst quarterback in that group for a long time too. All right, looks like we've got. All right, I was trying to get a member of the 4029 Storm team to come on halftime here, and we have this right now. My very good friend Melissa Hall with 4029 has called up halftime. And, man, it's not snowing any longer here, Melissa, but that doesn't make it any nicer outside. And I know you've had a pretty interesting day today, haven't you?
We have. And actually, my friend, you're in for a treat. It's not just me. I'm here with Chief Meteorologist Darby Bybee.
Oh, gosh. Hello. Darby's here, too. Darby was on the Morning Rush today as well. So he's like soon to be a paid employee of ESPN Arkansas. We need our own meteorologist along with sports analysis.
I told Melissa that I'll hop on for a minute, and then I gotta get to work.
And I've been working since 3 a.m. So we're gonna tag team this.
You're right.
Goodness
gracious! Yeah, no, the snow has cleared out of our area.
Well, where are you right now? Are you by?
We're in Rogers at our 4029 studio off of I-49. And that snow ended here about, looking at the radar right now, a couple hours ago, hour and a half ago. But we ended up with how many inches here in Rogers, Darby?
Right around 6 in Rogers. The reports we got from across Benton County were kind of in the 5.5 to 8 range. Washington County, 6 to 7.5, 8. River Valley, they're firmly in that kind of 8 to 10 inch range. And we had a few foot totals south of Fort Smith, even a couple 14-inch totals that came in Washington.
Can I ask a question? How many times does a cold front or snow flurries happen from the south like this? All my times I've lived here, it usually comes from the north. Is this unusual? How does something like this happen?
Well, every once in a while we'll get a system that'll track just a little bit farther south. This one was able to dig really deep. I mean, this thing came out of northern Mexico. And because we had so much cold air ahead of it, it was able to, draw on that moisture, send it north into our area, and it came down as snow because we already had a decent amount of cold air in place. I mean, systems don't usually track this far south. But you think back to February 2021 when Texas got hit, northern Louisiana, central Arkansas had, 2 feet of snow in places, and even in the southeast Arkansas. So, it can happen. It's just you got to have a lot of cold air in place, and usually there's not quite this much that far south. Anyway.
Yeah, but no, the stage was set earlier this week when we had that blast of cold air come in and just settle across the area.
You got to have.
Well, how long until life returns to some sense of normalcy in a weather sense? Some of us are just a little bit weird. There's never going to be normalcy, but will it start to melt before we get to Monday? Will we all be able to get to work?
Oh, yeah. Oh no, yeah. I mean, we're not gonna get much sun today. It's around freezing. There's already compaction, like the snow's compacting already. So it's getting denser. There's a little bit of melting, temperatures around freezing in northwest Arkansas and a little bit above in the River Valley, even though we don't have much sun. There won't be a lot of melting today, but we'll get some sun tomorrow and the next day, and it'll be a chilly pattern in general, and there'll be a refreeze basically every night. So it's going to take time to completely go away. Areas that get a lot of sun, that'll melt a little faster, and areas that don't get much sun at all, that could take a good bit of time. So, especially in the morning, the next 4, 5, 6 days, especially in rural areas, they don't get as much treatment on the roads. You could have issues in those shady areas for a while.
And so I'll tell you, I think the unsung heroes are our RDOT crews that have been out there working tirelessly to treat the roads.
Oh, yeah.
We talked to Dave Parker this morning, and they had 600 plows out there trying to clear the roads across the area. And we only saw one major accident in northwest Arkansas and the River Valley today. I mean, the main concern was people driving off and ending up in the ditch. But those RDOT workers have been working around the clock to try to make sure we get some sense of normalcy and return back to where we can get out.
They've really done. I mean, the main roads look great, at least what I've seen. Side streets are still slick, and there've been slide-offs in the side streets and off the interstate, this and that. But and look, there might be more of that too as more people get out. But they really have done a great job. But again, they're going to keep working, and they're going to get to areas they haven't gotten to, and it's just going to take time. But the fewer people out there, the easier it is, I know, for them to kind of do that.
I'll let you guys go in a moment because I know, Darby, you got to get to work, and Melissa, you're on the clock for like 11 and a half hours here. But I learned something the other day with this little burst on US 71 in Springdale.
Yes.
Apparently this I can't even call it a snowstorm. It's just like a tiny little flurry on one spot in Springdale was caused by a particulate from a power plant nearby, and this is something I had no clue could happen.
Well, now wait a second. Yeah, I haven't been able to. We have not independently confirmed that. Stuff like that can happen, but we don't know whether that really is the reason that because we actually had a few other bands in other parts of the state that did something similar in very, very small areas.
Mm-hmm.
That aren't anywhere near power plants and like that. So that was kind of a situation in which there's a lot of cold air in place, and in little pockets you had just a little bit more moisture. And that was one of those pockets. There were a few others in other parts of the state. As far as I'm aware, that was the only one in northwest Arkansas. The rest of us just kind of saw a little bit of a flurry. And then in Springdale, you've got like this dusting of snow on the ground. That was pretty wild, I think, for us to see, too.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll leave it there because we're right up against the break as well. I appreciate you guys calling in. I know it's kind of a crazy day and a crazy few days for everybody in the news business, specifically in the weather aspect of the news business. And both of you guys do outstanding work. Darby, appreciate when you're listening. Melissa, appreciate you and everything that you do and your friendship. And hope you guys stay safe out there, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah.
You too,
Look
Phil.
forward to it, Phil.
Yeah,
stay safe.
Yeah, thanks so much for calling.
You got it. That's Darby Bybee and Melissa Hall with the Arkansas Storm Team from 4029 News. All right, we'll come back. We'll wrap up the week right after this on Halftime.
This morning I called in, like when you call in, you hang up, you're like, wow, I'll just wait on Matt and Phil.
This is Halftime.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their hand-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Hi, this is Sydney from Ben Guerin. 2025 annual passes are now available at Ben Guerin Golf Course. We offer a variety of plans to meet your budget needs. We have special pricing for juniors, seniors, and military. If you're looking for the best golf value in the River Valley, then look no further than Ben Guerin Golf Course. Book your 2025 tournament outings now. For more information, call the Pro Shop at 646-5301, go to bengarengolf.com, or follow us on Facebook. When you think golf, think Ben Guerin.
Something amazing is happening in workplaces everywhere. Devices are learning how people work and adapting to help them get more done. That's because CDW is modernizing experiences with Dell's intelligent portfolio of devices. Thanks to built-in security and AI capabilities, your teams can work smarter wherever they may be. Dell and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Dell Client.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Are you looking for the cheapest prices on car insurance? Then call the Cheap Car Insurance Hotline right now. Hey, you're guaranteed to save money on your car insurance. Most car insurances can be canceled at any time. That means if you find a better deal, you can switch right away. We're not just one company. We offer most of the major brands of car insurance. We're like a discount supermarket for car insurance. And it doesn't matter if you have a good record or a bad driving record. Our agents are experts at finding you the right car insurance for your needs. Our average customer saves hundreds of dollars a year when they call us to switch. So why don't you make this 100% free call right now and see how much you can save on your car insurance?
800-493-6114. 800-493-6114. 800-493-6114. That's 800-493-6114.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Courtside with Fort Smith Public Schools.
Pretty exciting. First time that we've done a podcast, and we're going to try to promote Fort Smith Public Schools, what we do, our basketball at all 6 schools, the 4 middle schools and both high schools. And then, of course, we've got several big-time tournaments coming up, one that starts today. And so this is going to be exciting.
Coaches take you inside on what's going on in Fort Smith sports. New episode every week on the Hit That Line podcast network and on hitthatline.com.
Takes it through. It's all the way. Yes! Yes!
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Let's go!
Yeah, that's the sound of John Calipari in his office waving a terrible towel. He is still a Steelers fan, born and raised in Western Pennsylvania, part of the NFL Super Wildcard Weekend that gets going Tomorrow, I've born and raised in Pittsburgh, huge Steelers fan, always have been. And it's funny to watch some of the media people inside the city who have now convinced themselves, they have talked themselves into believing that the Steelers can actually beat the Ravens in Baltimore after losing 4 games in a row. They have literally convinced themselves this can happen. I put on some rose-colored glasses sometimes with my favorite NFL team, but I can't even do it for this. I'm looking at another one and done. I still think I have trouble. I think Baltimore is just scary good, but you've asked the question too, just like who's going to go into Kansas City and win? Like who can actually pull this off? And the last team to pull it off in the postseason isn't even in the playoffs right now with Cincinnati. So it's one of those things like you believe it when you see it.
The Ravens and the Bills, both those teams, they scare me in the AFC. The game, Phil, and I know we talked a little bit about it yesterday, I don't think it's going to be all chalk like college football. There's going to be some upsets. I'm looking at that Green Bay Packer Philadelphia Eagle game. I like Green Bay in that one. I could see Green Bay going on the road. I like the quarterback better. I know Philly has a lot of talent. That one though that one could be a little scary.
Hurts is going to play. He's passed through concussion protocol, but it's been a couple of weeks, so we'll see how it goes for him. I think the Washington Commanders can beat the Bucs, and the Vikings could beat the Rams. And part of this also is like the same idea. It's a little bit of the same idea. It's just nobody worries about this with football because we all accept that the way the playoffs are structured or the way that they're structured. But winning the NFC South this year is to me it's not quite the same as like winning the NFC East or the NFC North. But you win a division, you get a home game. So the Vikings are better than the Bucs. I think the Packers are better than the Bucs, but the Bucs are the division winners, and so therefore they get the home game, and it becomes because of that they're the favorite. So yeah, it ended up being an upset in that case. So what's our schedule for the playoffs for Super Wildcard Weekend? Chargers, Texans tomorrow, Steelers, Ravens in the evening. Sunday starts with the Broncos and the Bills, Packers and Eagles after, Commanders and Bucs, and then the Vikings and the Rams at the Arizona Cardinals Stadium, which it's not like it's all that lengthy of a drive to go from Los Angeles to Glendale. It's going to look a little bit weird. It's going to look very weird because I can just imagine it's going to be a half-empty stadium, maybe even more than half-empty. And for an NFL play, it'll kind of remind you of what of some of the the NBA bubble or Major League Baseball during the pandemic. It'll kind of remind you of that a little bit.
Or Razorback basketball home games.
And there's another thing. I wonder what the crowd looks like tomorrow. It's already it's been quiet inside the building and not quite the same energy, and now you got this snowstorm, and I don't know if there's much of a home court advantage tomorrow. You can scream as loud as you want, but if it's difficult for people to make it into the building, and some people might not be fired up about getting tickets to the game anyway. I don't know.
Concept team defense, Phil Elson. If this basketball team wants to win, you got to get back to being grimy and grind on that defensive end. Let everything build off that defense. You'll make more shots. You'll get more fast breaks. We're a collection of individuals, of great talented individuals that aren't playing as a team yet. And if you listen to Aaron Torres, what did he say? They won 8 of their last 10 games last year. So maybe it's all coming together so you can look at this team and see the athletic ability. They just got to figure out how to play basketball as a team a little bit better because the individuals, we have some athletes.
Need to get more from Brazil, need to get more from Adu, need to get more from Davis, although it was good to see Nelly score.
You just want him to continue, right? Nelly continue doing what you build on that.
Well, stay safe out there, Matt. Enjoy the quiet and the snow and the football and everything else over the next few days, and we'll be back with this Monday on Halftime again. Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast coming out shortly. Christian Johnston, well done for showing up to work today. Very thankful that you put forth the effort to do it. For CJ, for Matt, I'm Phil. Thanks for tuning in. That's Halftime. Now get up, get out, and get better.